Send that link to me. 25 on this number 256-810-1240.
Yeah, it's working.
Okay. Send that link to me. 256-810-1240.
Message 256.
810-1240.
Oh, I already have that one saved. So you're not doing it on Facebook Live?
It's YouTube Live.
Okay, so I have to answer the YouTube thing. So
Huh?
I need to go on the link to answer it.
Yeah. Hey, you guys, give me just a second. Let me know, just comment and let me know if you can hear me. I am so sorry for the technical difficulties. We will definitely get this corrected. My sincerest apologies. So just comment below and let me know. Just say I can hear you. I'm going to pass this link on to the other members. So just give me just a second. I don't see, let me see, to show comments. You guys comment below to let me know if you can hear me. I'm gonna give everybody a few minutes to log in.
Here we go. I figured it out.
You see comments?
Mm-hmm. Jasmine Taylor says it works and she can hear you.
Okay, great. Give me just a second. I'm waiting on several more. Okay, Trev, let's plug in this one. Awesome. Hi, Keisha. Okay, let's do a quick roll call. If you're here and I call your name, just say here. I think we're waiting on about 12 more people. So I'm going to call your name, and when I call your name, just say here. Just like we're in an academy, right? So, okay, just put the other one. All right, so we got 9 of you. So Parshna, your last name is Atkins. I think I'm saying that right. Pashana Atkins. Arlene Smith. Virginia Thomas. Virgia Thomas. Latoy Jones. Augusta. Jerica. Jasmine. Cassandra. Angela. Keisha. Glenna Lee. Joanna. Keisha. Jasmine. Yolanda. Rhonda. Deborah, and Sabrina. We're waiting for about 4 more people, okay? All right, I see you. Yolanda, Jasmine, I see you guys. We're going to give them a few more minutes, and I promise you I will not take this time away from you guys because of the technical difficulties that we've had. My sincerest apologies. I did practice this several times, but you just don't really anticipate for things to happen. I kept getting phone calls, so I had to turn both phones on Do Not Disturb so we won't have these issues. So we turned this one on.
Yeah, believe.
Okay. Cool. Hi. I think we're waiting on 4 more people. Hi, 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 hi. I think we're waiting on 4 more people. So, how was this Sunday for you guys? Was it awesome? Did you guys go to church today? We had an awesome time today, so I am super, super excited about it. I'm going to go ahead and get started. We are about 10 minutes behind, but I will be sure to make that up. I will not take your time away. I think we're missing about 2 more people, but they should have the link now. I'm just going to double check one more time and we're going to get started. We're missing 2 people. And once we get that, we will be ready to get started. All right. Angela, if you're here, tell me you're here. Latoy, if you're here, let me know you're here. Okay, so I think, awesome. I think we have almost everyone. I did have a couple that said they would come back a little bit later and say that okay, we're waiting for one more person. I think what I'm going to do is go live from the Facebook group as well. And as you type your questions, Trevor, you can see the comments and questions, right? So I'm going to go live on the Facebook group as well so that no one will miss out on this. So let me get this, and then we're going to get started. So we need to. You have just something we can pop it. Just like a bottle or can or anything. Okay, so I'm going live in the Facebook group. So anybody who, I think everyone is here, but I just want to be sure. You can never be too sure. But I just want to thank you all so much for joining us for the second wave of Luxe Academy. I am so super excited to have you here today. And I'm just, oh my gosh, I'm so ecstatic. My sincerest apologies for the technical difficulties. Like, I am just, oh my gosh, you can never really prepare for this. Now, I have my particular comments turned off, but my assistant Trevor is here. He can read your comments and he will read those comments to me as we're going throughout this class, and all of your questions, I'll be sure to answer them. I hope you guys received all of your pamphlets in the mail. By email, like all of your packet for Luxe Academy. So if you have not received that, be sure to comment and let me know. So without any further ado, we're gonna get started. Yay! So you guys know I am a pastor's wife, so I'm going to begin with some prayer. So we're going to take some quick opportunity to pray, and then we'll get started. So, Father, in the name of Jesus, we just thank you right now, God, for this time together. We thank you, oh God, for Luxe Academy and for everyone who has chosen to invest in their dreams. We thank you, oh God, that everything that they need, that the wisdom that they need to run their businesses, their event planning businesses, that you will allow me to be a vessel and an avenue for them, oh God, to pursue the dream that you've placed within their heart. And we give you and you alone the glory, the honor, and the praise in Jesus' name. Now we come against every distraction. We come against every tactic or strategy of the enemy. We say that the gates of hell will not prevail over this class in the mighty name of Jesus. And we give you and you alone all the glory and all the honor and all the praise in the awesome master's name of Jesus, we pray. Amen, amen, and it is so. Okay, so we're going to get started. I think, Arlene, you said you did not receive it. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to I know I emailed it to you, so check your junk mail. I just checked and made sure I sent it to everyone. So we're going to go from there. Okay, so let's get started. I will send it to you. If you haven't received it now, I'll send it to you in just a second after we get off of this particular class. So the first thing we're going to talk about is we're going to jump right into the business aspect. I did get all of your surveys. I have them right here, and I am definitely going to be covering a lot of the things that you guys asked me in your survey, and so we're going to go from there, and we are going to get started with the basics of business. Now, I've had the opportunity over the past several years to go to a lot of different trainings and classes and things of that nature, and one of the things that I found to be a common thread throughout my matriculation and event planning is that I found that there were some opportunities with the business side. A lot of people didn't really understand how to charge or how to get their businesses set up. And so I just found that it was extremely, it was a gap that needed to be filled. And so that's why I created Luxe Academy. And I really hope that what we cover over the next couple of hours will enable you guys to pursue those things that you want to do in your business and in your personal life. And so I'm so elated that you guys have taken this gigantic leap of faith to unleash the dream and the potential that you have on the inside of you. Celebrating others is definitely a blessing, and I'm telling you guys, I don't get any greater joy than seeing smiles on the faces of those who I choose to celebrate. Now, if you guys checked your email, you should have gotten this Luxe Academy booklet, and we're going to get started in our Luxe Academy booklet. I'm not going to read every single thing because you can go back and read it, but I want to maximize the time that we have here together, and so that you guys will have the opportunity to answer a lot of, ask a lot of the questions that you have, a lot of the pressing questions. I'm going to be very frank with you. I know several of you may have participated in some type of webinar in the past, and it's like you start the webinar and then they funnel you to something else and they funnel you to something else. That's not what I'm going to do here. I'm going to absolutely be very frank and very honest with you guys about any of the questions that you may have so that you can pursue the dream that you have within your heart. Now, I want to make a disclaimer. I'm going to be sharing a lot of information with you, but I highly suggest that you seek the advice of your tax professional, your lawyer, your accountant, your attorney. I'm not any of those things. I'm just sharing advice to you as a friend. And so what your individual situations are, financially, legally, etc. So I want to make sure that I put that disclaimer out there before we go forward. And so we're going to get started with kind of my story of how I got into business, and then, some of the steps that you guys need to take in order to launch your business. So first off, we are going to talk about, did something fall? No? I heard something fall. Oh, well, that'll worry me. Okay. So first of all, we're going to talk about how you get into your business. So starting the journey of starting a new business has taught me that starting a business is serious business. And a lot of times event planners get into business and they don't really understand what it really takes. And I would wake up every single day and I would dress for the day, but dream about my destiny and dream about my purpose and the things that God had placed on the inside of me. But dreaming about it was not enough to sustain the lifestyle and the things that I really, really, really wanted for my life. And so I decided to create a plan of action. And what this plan of action did, it allowed me to take, a few steps of faith. And what those steps of faith entail was it enabled me to fulfill my duties and while funding my dreams. What do I mean? It allowed me to work full time and then still fund the dream that I had of opening my very own event center. And so I was really excited about that. And it may not be feasible for you guys to quit your job right now once you start launching your event planning business, but what you want to do is have a purpose for that job. And so once you go to work, you understand, hey, it's not about me being here. It's about me getting to the next level. And working your job enables you to do that. It enables you to get to the next level. And so it allows you to fulfill your dream while fulfill your duties while funding your dream. So when you go to work, you have to think about, okay, this is a way for me to fund my dream. So I'm going to tell you guys a few of the secrets that I have kind of discovered while funding my dream. The second thing is it allows you to order your steps. You want to be able to create a process map of all the things that need to be done from creating a viable business plan. And we're going to talk about a business plan a little bit later. So you want to be able to create a viable business plan so that you can and go through all the steps to file with your local office and your state office, your city office, and things of that nature. And so these paper flowers, you guys, you want to make sure you use some good tape. There we go. I got it. You go over and get mine. Okay. And so you want to be able to fund your dream and fund your plans. Okay. Next up, you want to prepare for the masses, but you want to plan for the minuscule. So how will your business thrive? Like sometimes you can open the door and it will be so absolutely overwhelming and things can go really, really, really well. And then there are times where you're still, looking for someone to come in and be able to support your business. So you want to be able to plan for the masses, but prepare for the minuscule so that your business will still be thriving long after your grand opening. And so these are just a few of the practical tips that I'm going to be sharing with you. Now we're going to jump into the basics of the business. You guys, I have to calm down. I think just going through this whole situation of this technical difficulty has me a little bit off. So we're going to jump into the business aspect of planning. And so, okay. And so, to give you guys a little bit of a history about myself, I have a master's in business administration. I started event planning a few years ago at my ministry, and then it kind of grew into me launching my own business. And so, here are some of the steps that I went through in order to launch and start my own business. And so while I earned my master's in business administration, I had to take a small business class that required me to draft a business plan. And I think it's so imperative for you guys to draft a business plan. I don't know, in your packet, I have a sample business plan that you will need to fill out. So go to that packet and see if you see that. Go through those questions, and that packet will assist you with writing your business plan. It is just that easy. And so I'm going to show you guys how quick and easy it is to do that. I mean, it's super, 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 super easy, and anybody, and I mean anybody, can do it. And so once you go through that and you... Windows will read and scan this list automatically. Press the space bar to select. Y'all, the devil is just so busy today. Okay, so we know that in order to start your business plan, I have several. I have like a little application for you guys to fill out. Once you go through and you fill all of those sections out in your business plan, that will definitely assist you in drafting that. And you just answer those questions that are very, very simple questions that are in your packet. And once you go through that business plan, it will definitely help you to get everything together once you go to the SBA, which is a small business center, and they will definitely help you write your business plan. And so, a basic business plan is just a roadmap that will navigate you throughout startup and beyond, and answering a series of questions like, how much would it cost to start up? That would be one of your questions. What type of services will you offer? Will you just do children's parties? Will you do weddings? Will you do dessert tables? Like, what type of services will you do? Desserts? What type of services will you offer? Your next one is, what is your niche market? This is so important. Finding your niche market is really the key to excelling in event planning. And so one of the things that I figured out was that my niche was in small events and intimate events. And a lot of people want the big luxury customers, the $1,000 client, the $100,000 wedding, the $75,000 wedding. But a lot of people don't have that budget. You have a lot more people that are in the $1,000 to $10,000 range than you do have people in the $100,000 range. So you have to be able to find your niche and go from that perspective in order to grow your business. And so that's how I was able to find my niche in event planning. And I was really excited about being able to do that. So I went in and I started doing intimate events, and no one in my area was really focusing on that. And so that opened up a whole new market for me. And then, who is your competition? You need to know who your competition is. You need to be able to provide a SWOT analysis on your competition. What is a SWOT analysis? That's your strength, that's your weakness, your opportunities, and your threats. So you need to sit down and be able to provide those things for yourself as you're analyzing your business plan. So I'm going to stop and see if there are any questions so far. You guys have any questions so far? Are you on the YouTube one? Okay. Okay, so once you get your business plan, you want to reach your target market, determine how you are going to launch your business, and then what goals you have for your business. So I have that entire worksheet there for you. And then after this particular class, we'll go through a one-on-one. We'll schedule a one-on-one and we'll go through that. And then you'll make an appointment with the SBA, which is your local government, and they will actually help you draft your business plan for free. But this was kind of a guide that I put together for you. Can you repeat what you said regards to the competition? Okay, yes, I can. So what I will do is I will I put that together for you so that you can go to your local SBA, which is an office. It's absolutely free. You go online and look up where your local office is, and then from there you will be able to go through the process of registering your business plan. And so what I was saying about your competition, a lot of people look at competition in a negative way, and it's not. I think some of the best information you can ever gather will be from your haters, because they are going to analyze you to no end. And so I think it's very healthy to look at your competition to kind of determine where you are and what you need to do. And so what I said is you need to conduct a SWOT analysis. SWOT, SWOT. And I have that in your packages as well. And so that is your strength, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. So what is your strength in the business? Like, what's your strength? So let me give you an example. Let's do a really quick SWOT analysis on my business. And while I'm doing this, I want you guys to grab your pencil and your paper to do a SWOT analysis on your businesses. So what's my strength? My strength is that I'm an extremely creative individual, and I'm able to take a little bit and do a lot with it. That is my strength. I focus on intimate events and things of that nature. So that is one of my strengths, and I'm very creative. So you have to sit down and write down your strengths. So what's my weakness? My weakness is I don't really like to do large scale events. So what happens is that I miss out on a lot of potential clients because I do like to focus on more of the intimate events. And then one of my other weaknesses is that sometimes I will go overboard in order to achieve the look that I have in mind when the client didn't necessarily have the budget for that particular look. What's an opportunity for me? An opportunity for me would be to grow my team so that I can take on events of any size, um, although I may specialize in intimate events. And what's a threat? A threat to me would be, not having a replacement for some of my team members. Like I have some very core team members, let's say, like Rachel, she does my cake. She does an outstanding job. Sharonda and another young man helps me a lot with my backdrops and my draping. So if something happened to these individuals, what would it do to my business? So I'm constantly thinking about what threats can do to my business, and I'm looking for, I always like to have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C, and a plan D, because it's your business and it's very, very, very important that you protect it and protect your image and protect your brand. And so that's a SWOT analysis. So, looking at your competition, not in a bad way, not to say, well, this person, did you see the way she did that? Oh, that wasn't good. She could have done that better. Like, no, that's not the right way to look at competition. The right way to look at it would be, okay, what can I do to improve? What can I do to further myself? And that's the right way to look at competition. So I hope that answers your questions. Let me know if that answers your question. So again, Trevor's going to type this down. When you're writing your small business plan and you go through that worksheet that I sent you on how to write your business plan, and we'll schedule a one-on-one to go through that, go to www.sba, S as in Sam, B as in boy, A as in apple, .gov, and they will write you can go to them and schedule an appointment, and they will assist you with writing your business plan for absolutely no money. This is one of the tax benefits that we have as citizens of the United States, and a lot of us don't know it, so we don't take advantage of it. So you want to make sure that you go to them, because they are in every community. You just have to, sometimes they're attached to colleges or some type of community center or help center, but you want to make sure that you visit them in order to write your business plan. Now let's move on to how to choose your business name and secure a license. And so branding your business is one of the simplest yet most important things that you can ever do. It's one of the toughest tasks that you will ever be able to perform, like your personal name. Your personal name represents who you are, and your business name will represent who you are as well. And so when I first created my YouTube channel, I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. I actually named my first YouTube channel M. Shantae on the Move. M. Shantae on the Move. Like, what did that mean? Like, it had no meaning. I didn't really realize what plan God had for me. And so I had to go back and rebrand and rename my business because it had no meaning and it had no purpose. And so once I started looking for a name, I just, kind of surveyed all my friends, and I'm like, what do you guys really get, for me? Well, you always know how to do the greatest things for less. Like, how to find the greatest bargains, and everyone kind of said the same thing. And so from that grew my channel, Living Luxuriously for Less. And so when I decided to name my business, I wanted to be able to name it something that I could kind of build on. So you want to make sure that your name is buildable, and that was very important for me, was to make my name buildable. And so and I'm going to go through that, and what I like to call that is mind mapping. And so you guys may have received this worksheet. Look at this worksheet, and we're going to complete that really quickly. And I'm going to, again, use myself as an example on how to mind map. How to mind map. And so let's put in the middle, my business name, Living Luxuriously for Less. And so what you want to do is you always should be able to create at least 7 streams of income. Okay? So 7 streams of income is where you want to be in life. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So your business should be able to if you have a good name for your business, it should be able to generate for you at least 7 streams of income. All right, so you guys, let me know if you have this sheet in the middle. In the middle of this mind map, I'm gonna put my name, which is Living Luxuriously for Less. That's my YouTube name. That's where it all started. Okay? So that's my first business. My second business that grew from that was Luxe Events. So I started doing my own events, Living Luxuriously for Less, Luxe Events. And then the next thing I did was I opened Luxe Studio. So that was my third stream of income. My fourth stream of income after Luxe Studio, and you guys are going to be the first to kind of hear about this, is Luxe Box. So I'm going to have a Luxe Box that's going to be coming out to you really, really, really soon. And I'll be sharing with you guys new products and things like that that are in the party planning industry, and doing a review on them, and doing kind of like a party in the box where I set up a design and then I give you guys a full tutorial on how to create that list, along with all of the places where you can source that list. So now we're on it. So we have Living Luxuriously for Less, Luxe Events, Luxe Studio, Luxe Box, and then we have Luxe Book. You guys, I love to do fashion and things like that. And so I am starting to offer that as an incentive to my brides. So when brides sign with me, I will actually help to style them for their wedding day. So they'll do like a luxe fashion, and so that's going to be a brand as well. And so we have Living Luxuriously for Less, Luxe Events, Luxe Studio, um, Luxe Box, Luxe Fashion, and then we have Luxe Academy. So now that's what we're doing now is Luxe Academy. And then my seventh one is going to be the Luxe Book. And that's the actual book that I'm going to write and kind of share with you guys. It's going to be like an inspirational book, along with an event planning. I don't want to give you guys too much information because I'm in the works of this, but it's going to be a book, and it's going to help event planners kind of schedule and stay organized. So just think of it as a event planner. And so from that one business, I have 7 different streams of income. So once you sit down and you want to be able to pick a name that you can build off that name. So I have a friend, and the name of her business is Simply Beautiful Events. And so that's her name. So she could do Simply Beautiful Weddings, Simply Beautiful Fashion, Simply Beautiful Photography, Simply Beautiful Catering. You can go on and on and on, but you want to make sure that your name is buildable. And so that's one of the key things that I want to share with you guys regarding your name. The next thing you want to do is make sure that you trademark your name. You want to check with your state to make sure that your name has not been taken. I think that fee is around $50 or so. So you want to make sure that you register your name with the state as well. So I'm going to pause right here to see if you guys have any questions about branding and how to name your business. What questions do you have about branding and how to name your business? Any questions? And you're so welcome about the SWOT analysis. I wanted to kind of share that with you guys so you can use it as a tool to improve your business. So any questions regarding branding or how to name your business? Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is how to select a business structure and how you secure a license. Okay, I see one. Okay, Trevor.
Is what you were speaking about in regards to having 7 streams, correct?
Yes. Yes. In terms of picking the right name for your business and how to ensure that your business is buildable. You know, if you pick something like White Lace Weddings, you know, it will be extremely difficult to kind of build off that. And so once you're trying to secure your name for your business, you want to make sure that you look at your name and make sure that it's going to transcend time, that you don't have to, you know, rebrand yourself more than one time while you're in business, because I definitely had to rebrand myself. Sometimes we don't really know. And in my case, I was just really ignorant about how to pick a business name. And so I definitely wanted to pick a name that was meaningful. I wanted to pick a name that would transcend time, and I also wanted to pick a name that was buildable.
On Jericho James says, with those seven strands, would you still have the same logo or symbol?
I have a no. It's not the exact same logo or symbol. That's a great question, but it's a derivative of my logo or symbol. So I'm gonna be releasing the whole new. Like I started branding and then I stopped because I'm gonna release them all at one time. So that's a very good question. So they will all look very similar to each other, but they won't be the exact same. But you will know by looking at it that it is my logo because it will be the same colors, the same shape, the same font, and things of that nature. So great question. I think Augusta, you had a question. You said, "Does York stuff as a name stand out to you?" Um, I it depends on what you're doing. Are you doing weddings, events? Are you making centerpieces? It honestly depends on what you're doing. You want to make sure the name is meaningful and that it's easy to kind of like roll off the tongue. You know, people just will kind of remember you. You don't want to make it so difficult that people can't pronounce it or, things like that. Or they don't really understand what it means. Do we have any other questions regarding naming your business or branding? And I want you guys, I'm just going to skip through this packet because time is very precious and I didn't want to talk to you for over an hour because I didn't want to leave a lot of time for you guys to ask me questions, specific questions. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a few more minutes. In regards to branding and how you get logos created and things of that nature, I highly, highly recommend Fiverr. www.fiverr, Fiverr.com. You can get like some amazing logos and things of that nature for about $30. So they will build you all kinds of things. Like if you have like a couple $100, you can really get some great things done on Fiverr. Fiverr, like the number 5 with 2 R's. I actually got my Luxe Studio logo done on Fiverr. Okay. Any other questions regarding branding your business, naming your business, and where to purchase your logo, etc.? Okay. All right, so to kind of wrap up on naming your business, you want to make sure that it's easy to say and easy to spell. It's memorable. You want to make sure that it's not offensive or that it doesn't carry another meaning in another culture or community. You want to make sure that your name is self-explanatory and that it's expandable and buildable. That's what we talked about. And finally, you want to make sure that it evokes an emotion or a feeling when people think about your brand. Like when people think about Luxe Studios, they think, oh my goodness, this is going to be expensive. When you hear the word Luxe, you think expensive. And so definitely you want to make sure that consider those points when you're naming your business and you're trademarking and making your logo. I had a couple of questions.
Do you have to trademark a logo?
You actually don't have to trademark right away. What you want to do, because trademarking can be a little bit more expensive. We're going to talk about that a little bit. I think it's about $400 to trademark. Now, I have not trademarked my particular logo that I currently have because I did buy it off Fiverr. But my husband has a clothing company, which is Creature, and his whole business is built off of that logo. And so, just like Nike, for example, Nike business is built off of that logo. And because it's built off of that logo, then it makes it very, very, very difficult for, they want to make sure it's trademarked so people won't just copy it and start producing those clothing. Victoria's Secret trademarks their logo or their name. I have not trademarked Luxe Studio or Luxe Academy or anything like that at this time because it is very expensive. I think it's like think I told you about $400, but we did do it for my husband's business because his whole line is based off of that logo. So that's a very good question. I think someone, is it important to link up with planners and coordinators in the beginning of your startup? Jerica, that's a great question. It depends. And let me tell you, when I first started up, a lot of people were very, very, very cautious with the information that they shared. Information was not as readily available as it is right now with YouTube and Pinterest and all these different party groups and things on social media. So people were very protective of the information that they had. And so I started to reach out to others, and if it did not feel right, if we didn't gel well, I didn't push that relationship. I decided to do exactly what you guys are doing now. I decided to start looking for classes, and I started to look for people outside of my area in order to get the knowledge that I needed so that I can find a safe place to practice. As I think a lot of you guys, if you watched my first video on how I got started in event planning, I started doing decorating in church because it was a safe place. I could mess up at church and I didn't have to worry about people getting upset with me. I didn't have to worry about people, spewing bad things on social media about my business before I could ever get started. And so my suggestion would be to start in a safe place. Start at work, start at church, start with your family, and then just hone your skills, and then we'll go from there. And so that is it's not necessarily important for you to link up with them from the beginning unless they are someone that will help you and aid you and be honest with you and not be intimidated by you. And so that is, and you'll know that, like, you'll have that discernment, like, okay, I can really vibe with this person, I can really gel with this person. If that's not the case, then don't pursue it. Arlene said, will you need 7 business licenses for the 7 strands or under all one corporation name? That's a great question. That depends on your individual preference. For me, I linked everything under one name. It was just easier for me to do like an umbrella, just like Oprah. She has like Harpo. It's the name of her company, and then everything falls under Harpo. For me, it was a lot easier for me to do it that way. And this leads me into a very, the next subject. So this was a good point to lead on to kind of talk about your business structure and how to structure your business. So once you have settled on your official business name, you want to make sure that you check the availability of your name with the Secretary of State website by doing a federal and state trademark search, and make sure that you're ruling out any names that are already registered. So once you check with your Secretary of State and the trademark, and you see, okay, this is registered, this name is registered, I can't use it, you want to make sure you rule those things out and then go back and tweak your name accordingly. Then you want to make sure that the domain is correct is available for your future website. And if it is available, even if you don't launch it, go ahead and purchase it so that it will be available. And you want to not only do that for your website, you want to do it you can look for your domain name on GoDaddy.com, but you also want to do it for your YouTube. You want to do it for your Facebook page, your Instagram, your email. Once you come up with your business name and you get it solidified, go ahead and reserve all of those things, because I promise you, by the time you get things started, it probably won't be there. And you want to do it on Twitter. You want to do it on Snapchat. You want to do it on Periscope, also on Pinterest, like all of the social media platforms. You want to go on and reserve your name so that you will have continuity, or like a seamless line across all social media platforms. So that's one of the things you want to do. And then after you do all that, you want to select your business structure. You will need to determine what your legal structure will be. Now, for me, the options are sole proprietorship, partnership, an LLC, and a corporation. And To be quite honest with you, all four of those options have their advantages and disadvantages. And again, that is a sole proprietorship, a partnership, an LLC, and a corporation. So when I opened up Luxe Studio last year, I actually started it out as a sole proprietorship for reasons that fit my own personal financial situation. At the time that we opened, my husband had just got laid off from his job. And so it was advantageous for us to do it that way last year. But then towards the end of the year, he, started working another job, and so this year we switched over to an LLC for tax purposes. So you want to make sure that you get with your accountant to see what is more advantageous for you and your individual situation. I will tell you personally, it is much, much, much easier to do a sole proprietorship because all you have to do is use your social security number, and you make sure you get a state license, a city license, a county license, all the licenses that you'll need to do business. For me, I had to have three. I had to have one for my city, one for my county, and one for my state. Now, some people, cities don't require license, but you want to make sure you check out all of that for all the different licenses for that as well. And then remember, I told you guys about the SBA. Well, they can also assist you on what is best for you in reference to what type of business you want to be able to launch. And so once you've decided on your structure and you've got your name online, you want to go to the Secretary of State in order to register your business. And for most states, this can be completed online in about 30 minutes. Like, it only takes 30 minutes to register your business, and it costs a few $100s. And that depends on your state and your area. So you want to make sure you check into the Secretary of State. And again, all this information is in your Academy pamphlet as well. And if you're not comfortable with doing or registering your business on your own, be sure to check, schedule a meeting with your accountant or with your attorney in order to do that. Now, I talked to you guys about securing a license. Is there a question?
Yes.
Okay.
Glenna Lee said, I have a business name already, which is Classic Events. It's a dessert and candy buffet company that she just launched, and it's also called Sweet Lee's. Should she rename this in relation to branding her company?
Yeah. So I would, Glenda Lee. I would suggest that you stick with one name, because you said two different names, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would stick with something that's buildable. So out of those two, it was Classic Events.
Mm-hmm. And then she has a dessert and candy buffet company that she just launched called Sweet Lee's.
Sweet Lee's?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I would go back and see which one of those. I think Sweet Lee's kind of stands out to me more. Classic Events doesn't really capture my attention. So I would go from that Sweet Lee's standpoint and see what you can do from there and build some things from there. That would probably be the one that I would kind of go. But I would choose one of the two. I would probably start with Sweet Lee's and then just see if I can build that one. That's a good question. On your confectionery and baked goods. I'm a food scientist, so let me give you this piece of advice. If the products that you're producing in your home or creating in your home are shelf stable, you can produce in your home under a homestead license, but make sure that you go get your Serve Safe certification in order to do that. I did have a friend here locally that did some things that someone decided they were making strawberries, and then someone decided that they were going to turn them in for making strawberries, and they were fined like thousands of dollars for doing this out of their home. So you want to make sure that you get your homestead license and get your Serve Safe certification. If you don't know where to get that, go to your local it's like the same office that like 4-H is in and Department of Agriculture. It's like a local office. Go to them and they can assist you with getting that certification. Okay, so someone asked me a question earlier about trademarking. Now, trademarking is a little bit different from getting your logo and things like that and getting your business reinstated. Trademarking is just totally around your logo. So for my husband, Creature, he trademarked his logo. And so trademark in the United States, it costs about $400 if you file it yourself. This is not something I opted to do right away because I had so much cost tied up into I had so much cost tied up into grand opening and getting inventory and things like that that I did not want to trademark right away. And so definitely I I thought that it was not something I needed to do, but when I get ready to roll out all these new things that I just shared with you guys, I'm definitely going to be trademarking those things, but it'll be under one umbrella. So I'll just have to pay one $400 and not $2,800. Okay, hi Andrea. Jerica said, with all the social media available, is it necessary to have a website? You know what? I felt the exact same way. And do you know, people were like, well, do you have a website I can go to? Like, I could send them to Facebook, but it did not really solidify me until I got a website. And I did get a website for like $300. Like, this guy that built my website from start to finish for $300. And I tell you, it's been a lifesaver. So yes, I do think it's necessary to have both a website and social media. It just sets you on a different platform and it allows people to see that you're serious about what you're doing. Now, I will share his information with you guys for those of you who are interested in getting a website built. If you are, just let me know and I'll shoot you that link over for his information. You guys know I'm always about finding the best for less, living luxuriously for less, so I will definitely share that information with you all. Great question, Jerica. Do we have any other questions about trademarking or any other questions about the business aspect before I move on to how to build your inventory? Any other questions? I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to ask a few more questions. What questions do you have about any of the business aspect? We're going to get into pricing. We haven't gotten into that. How do we go about doing the umbrella? You just list the business name and then you just kind of list everything that you are doing underneath that business. So when you go file for your business license, they'll ask you, what are you going to be doing? You list those things underneath that. And so just make sure that that is the same way you do it for your city and your county, but you just kind of list it all underneath it. It's like, what are you operating as? So like, you just do it under that umbrella.
What kind of home license were you speaking of?
It's called a homestead license, and it's a license for people to be able to do baking and shelf-stable things in their home. It's a homestead license. When did I know it was the right time to buy the building? Girl, it was just the grace of God. What happened was that I had an event that was planned, and I'll get your question in a second, Jersey girl. I had an event that was planned. It ended up raining. I ended up going into this building because I could not find another location. The location that I had booked as a plan B had just decided like earlier that week that they were not going to allow music, and my clients had already purchased a full-scale band for the event, and they did not want to not have the band. So I had to find somewhere that would allow me to bring in my own caterer, my own band, and someone told me about this building. And when I went in, it just it felt right. It was like, it was just like God spoke to me. It's like, this is for you. Excuse me. So I talked to my husband about it, first of all, and he was in agreement with it. And so I had no idea what the mortgage would look like for this building. And so I kind of sat down and we looked at our finances and kind of decided, okay, this is what we're going to do here. This is what we can afford. And so once I sat down and wrote down my budget on what we could actually afford, I was like, yes, let me see if this is feasible. So I went back and I talked to the owner, and I had this figure in my mind of how much I wanted it to be, and I knew what it was worth because of where it was located. It's on a main street, and I knew what other people paid for that kind of building and that kind of property. And so I was like, okay, I don't know if I can really afford this, but we'll see. So I prayed about it, and I went back and met with them. I told them what I wanted. They agreed to it. They allowed me to write my own contract and put those things that I wanted in my own contract. And it was for the exact amount. Like, I didn't tell her what I was willing to pay, but it was for the exact amount. The exact amount that I had already knew that I could afford. And that's how I knew it was right. That's how I knew it's right. Okay?
Okay.
I think Jerica asked a question about the decor list. Jerica, we'll get to that in just a second. I think you're meaning my vendor list, and we will definitely get to that in just a second.
Jersey Girl said, okay, already, they have a business registered. Do she needs to go back and add an additional?
Okay, so your business is already registered. I'm not sure about making amendments. I think when you make amendments to your business, you have to get a new license. And so I would definitely be very leery about doing that. So, yeah, I would not do that right away. I would check and see what the policies are because I know when I started my business, it was in September of last year, and then when December rolled around, I thought it would be like a tag. It would be good to go from September to September. No, ma'am. I had to go get a whole nother license. So I had paid like $400 in September. Then I had to turn around and pay $400 more in January. And then if I was going to change it, I decided at that time too, I would go ahead and change it to an LLC. And the reason I did that is because if I had made any changes to it, it was going to still be $300 or $400 more just because the certificate was not the same. So I would definitely check into that for your area.
Okay.
Great question.
Are there any suggestions or recommendations you have for website platforms such as Wix, Squarespace, or places to find someone to create a website for you?
Yes, I had covered that earlier. I will share that name with you guys, and you can also kind of look on. Believe it or not, Craigslist is a great place to look for people to do things like that, and I'll share the name of the guy that did it for me. And I do use Wix as a platform, and I have found it to be extremely user friendly, and I'm not like a very tech savvy person. So I will definitely send you guys this information, but I want to make sure he's okay with it before I flood him with all of you guys. So
Okay. Has it been difficult to work with different venues and their rules? For example, bringing in food, tape on walls, music, etc.
It can be difficult to work with different venues, but what's imperative is that you go to these venues in your area, get their contracts, and see what the rules are, and then kind of form a relationship with those venues. A lot of people, even with me owning my own venue, I had a situation to come up where I allowed a photographer to rent the venue, and when she came in, um, she had put some things all over the wall, and I had just paid like $1,000 to have this painted. And when she pulled the whatever she posted on the wall off, it pulled all my paint off. Like it was just splotches of paint all over my wall. So of missing paint. And I absolutely understand where these venues are coming from with candles and paint. And, as a venue owner myself, it really changed my perspective. And so it made me a lot more creative. So the first thing I would tell you would be to look at their contracts and their menus. Now, look at their contracts and see what the do's and don'ts are for that particular venue before you move on to something else. And see if it works for you. If it doesn't, encourage them, find someone that you can work with, and then encourage them to work with you with those particular venues so that you guys can accomplish what needs to be accomplished. Now, we have several venues in my area. The ones that require you to use their caterer and they're extremely expensive, or they require you to use their caterer and the food is not good. Like I say, okay, let's use this venue because you're not required to use their caterer. So I try to give my bride options my client options unless it's something that they want to do. So that's a very good question. Very, very good question.
Okay. Jerica James says, is it smart to wait to buy a building until you have a certain amount of clients who hire you to decorate at other venues?
I would say it's okay. It's smart to wait. I've actually have been decorating 10 years before I actually got a venue. And then some people I know that they just got started, open up a venue, and business is booming. I think if the need is there for your area, and you pray about it and it's something that you're comfortable with, definitely make that move. But if the need is not there, or you don't have the clientele, or you have any reservations, I would not make that investment immediately because things can happen and you don't want to put yourself where you're in a worse off financial situation.
Okay.
Okay, I think Jerica said what I'm trying to ask is it smart to wait to buy a building? Okay, okay, that's what you were saying. Okay, did I have any other questions that I missed on YouTube? I'm doing both, so you guys, I'm trying to make it you all. Okay, are you guys good? Let me know. Give me a thumbs up, a heart, or something to let me know that I'm answering your questions so far and that this is making complete sense to you guys. Before we move on to building inventory. Any other questions? Let me know. Thumbs up, heart, do something. Let me know we got it going on. I'm answering your questions because one of the things I want this to be for you guys is value added. If it's not value added, then I'm doing something wrong and I need to go back to the drawing board and rethink some things. So let me know. Give me some thumbs up in the comments, something to say yeah. Would you suggest? Okay, I already answered that. On a good roll now. Yes, Toya, Latoya. Yes, ma'am. I'm on a roll. I had to get myself together. I was so off kilter. Like I'm so type A. I think I told you guys that when this thing didn't work, it just threw me all off. I was all off. But we're on the roll. Okay. Now let's talk about inventory. Now let me tell you guys this. Whenever I first started in event planning, I had goose eggs, no money. I was broke. Like I was working a job that was check to check. I think I had like $20 to eat off of for the whole week. I was broke, like for real broke. And what happened was that I had to be very, I had to be very, I had to be very creative when it came to making money. And so when I first started doing events, I had $20 or $25 with my budget, and I did a baby shower at church. I went to the Dollar Tree and Hobby Lobby, purchased some things, and everybody was absolutely in love with the baby shower. And then their children started turning one, and they came back for me to do birthday parties. And again, I told you guys, like, start in a safe place like church and work. I did bridal showers at work, baby showers at work, so on and so forth. And so once I started doing that, I started, they started coming back for like the first birthday party. And I didn't know how to charge, but I kind of stumbled on a formula that I'm going to share with you guys. Like my secret to always making money for every event that you do. And so what I did was I went in and I went in and I would say, okay, I'll decorate this party for you. You'll just have to buy the items, like all the tablecloths and whatever I needed. And then in exchange for that, they gave me the materials. And so from that, I was able to build my inventory. And so I would only charge them. And because they were family, I was able to tell them that. But if you guys are just getting started, you may not feel comfortable with saying, well, you buy the stuff and I'll keep it. It doesn't really sound all that great. So what you'll do is just say, you know what, I will charge you the cost of the items, or I will, charge you or do this party at cost. And that sounds so much better than you buy the stuff and I'll keep it. And so what you'll do is then you'll start acquiring your inventory. You want to start with all of your basic color linens like white, black, and ivory. And then once you get all your basic colors in, then you come back and then you started adding your other colors, your primary colors. Like people use red a lot, and right now purple is really popular and royal blue is very popular. So you want to do all those things and then bring it all together. And then as you do each event, you're building. So my magic number to start with was 10. So whenever I did an event, I wanted to make sure I had at least 10 white, 10 black, 10 ivory. Then when I got 10, I was like, I need a backup. So I went back and got 10 more white, 10 more black, and 10 more ivory. And so I had 20. And so I knew with 20, I can at least do an event for like 100 and something people. And I did the same thing for my chair covers and chair sashes and chair ties until I completely built the inventory, and I built it with no money. Now, and again, I did the services at cost. And then me doing the services at cost allowed me to build my inventory. Once I built my inventory and I had got a couple of events under my belt, with the people at my ministry, with the people at my job, and people were very happy. I got positive feedback. I got constructive criticism. I was able to make those changes, and then I opened myself up for my community. Once I opened myself up for my community, I started out charging, I think, like $350 for events. And I'm telling you guys, I was booked and busy. I was booked and busy and broke because I found myself wanting to do more than what the client had money for me to do. And I had to come up with a formula, and we'll talk about that formula a little bit later. I don't want to get into that, but that's how I built my inventory. Also, in your list, I have a guide. Do you see this little guide? I show you what you are, how, like, where the tablecloth should hit. One of my pet peeves was, like, people not, like, the legs should never show on your tables whenever you're decorating. And so for a topper, if you got a 60-inch round table and you're just looking for a topper, then you're looking for something that's a 90 round. That's just going to be a topper, or a 90 by 90, or whatever you're looking for. A topper is a very inexpensive way to add color to your white tablecloths without spending a lot of money on the colored ones. So before I started buying colored tablecloths, I started buying runners and toppers to add color to my inventory because it was so much cheaper. For example, a red tablecloth may cost $12, but a red topper could only be like $2 and something. So it's much more cost effective to do the toppers than it is to do the full tablecloths. And this is as you're growing your inventory, or if the budget is not where it needs to be. And so this is a right size tablecloth for your tables. And then on the next page, I have a list of all the vendors that I use that we'll run through really, really quickly. But before I get to the vendors, I'm going to pause and answer some questions.
Okay. Augusta said, "What is the Safe Serve license?"
It is a license that Safe Serve license, or Serve Safe. I think I might be saying it backwards, but Serve Safe license is a license that every restaurant has to have, and if you're in baking goods or serving any type of food or catering or confectionery treats, you need this license in order to practice food safety. Excuse me, it's required by the state and by the health department. And you take this test. You can go to servesafe.com, take the test, and get your certification. And so that's what that's for. That's for those of you guys who do treats and things like that out of your home. You want to make sure that you are licensed and that you have gone through the class and the training, because you don't want people to get sick from consuming anything that you prepare. Great question.
Okay. When building your business, how do you pay the people that work with you?
Well, I just, like, before I was working for church and things like that. So I would just pay the people, like, based on whatever we were doing. I would pay them just like, okay, can you guys help me? I'll pay you $50. Well, they were teenagers. So teenagers helping for $50, that was like a big deal for them. When I first started out, it was like everybody else. I had family members and friends that would volunteer. But as I began to grow, I, knew that them taking time out of their schedule was very important, and I wanted to be able to compensate them. So that's why you hear Trevor here in the background, because now he works for me part-time. And so I did have to end up hiring people to work with me part-time, and then I also had to end up outsourcing a lot of things that I was able to do but I didn't necessarily want to do because I didn't have the labor to do it all. So I just would outsource it and have my client to pay for that labor. So that's a great, great question.
Okay. Latoya said, "Where did you store all the items in your inventory?"
Oh, I have a storage room now, Latoya, but before I had a storage room in my studio, I stored things in my garage at home. I stored things under the bed, behind the door, you name it, I stored it there. But yeah, in the attic, I just stored things everywhere. At church, I had like 3 storage rooms. I was very blessed to have a place at church, my in-laws being the leaders of the church, so I stored things there. I mean, just anywhere anywhere. I stored, event planning items there. So, but now I do have a full storage room, and one of Trevor's major responsibilities at the studio is keeping that all organized for me. Great questions, you guys. What other questions do you have about business and/or inventory? Okay, so no more questions. Let's get into the hot topic of the night, and that is the places I lux to shop. So these are all the places that I absolutely love to shop for linens. I like Tablecloth Factory. They are very cost effective. I like CV Linens. I like BBJ linens, they are more of your luxury linens. Wildflower linen is luxury, and uriquitlinen.com. Now, for the last three that I told you were luxury, I like to use those for like cake tables or sweetheart tables or something like that. But CV Linens and Tablecloth Factory, and it's one other one that I didn't put on here. Whew, your chair covers and linen tablecloth. Those are the places that I absolutely love to shop. Okay, Augusta, we're going to talk about chair covers in just a minute, and I'll ask you that. Any questions about tablecloths? Anybody got questions about tablecloths? I'm going to move on. So let's talk about chair covers. So for chair covers, I started out, you guys remember, I started out a long time ago. So I've gone through like 4 different types of chair covers. I started out with just a regular polyester banquet style chair covers, and then they came out with the universal satin chair covers that were from the devil. But I still have them because you will end up in some situations that you will need those chair covers. Like I had that just happened in January, where I was doing an event, and what would have taken us 30 minutes ended up taking 3 hours because the chair covers, the bottom of the chairs were like made like a L or like a U, or a football post. Just imagine like a football post. That's how the chair legs were made. They were connected at the bottom, and those stretch chair covers would not stay on. If I had my universal chair covers, we would have been done like that. So you definitely need to keep the universals on hand because all of the they cover all the chairs with arms, chairs without arms. So I would definitely recommend a set of universal chair covers. And I always say order in a set of 100. And I would start out with white and then go to black. And then you need a set of stretch chair covers. Get the ones that are made for the lifetime chairs because they will fit all chairs and then go from there. And I would get those in white and black. So the 2 chair cover types I would recommend would be the stretch and the universal. You need both of those in order to run your business. Okay?
Okay. How do you feel about doing wedding expos?
How do I feel about doing wedding
Expos.
expos? You know what? I have not done a wedding expo. And I don't really think that they are very effective today. Like the foot traffic is really down. I have a lot of friends that have participated in wedding expos, but they have not gotten the leads that they thought they were going to get from the money that they invested into it. So what I would recommend is take that money that you would use to register for that wedding expo and use that money to buy some inventory, do a style shoot, you set up something, it's really like a fake wedding or a fake event, and you just set up one table and get some great pictures of it and post it on social media. You'll get so many more leads from that, in my personal opinion, than you would from doing an expo. Trevor will tell you we've stayed pretty consistent this year, and we've not done an expo. Like, we've not done one.
Okay. Let's see. Do you have an inventory list of all your materials?
We don't have a list, but that's something we are working on this summer. That's something Trevor's working on this summer. Yep. We just said that because I was looking for stuff and found stuff that I didn't even realize I had. I've ordered the same thing so many times. So we are definitely working on an electronic inventory list as we speak.
Let's see. Do you use Alibaba.com?
I have never used Alibaba because I'm just so afraid of getting a vendor and the quality not being as good. Like the people that I listed on this sheet are the people that I use all the time.
Okay.
hmm
Do you rent your inventory as well?
I don't rent my inventory. Let me tell you why. Because when you rent inventory, okay, let me restate this. I don't rent my inventory, but I do rent my inventory. What do you mean, Melanie? When you rent, per my accountant, check with your accountant, per my accountant, when you rent things, you have to pay a rental tax. I don't even rent my building. I have a package. And in that package, it includes linens and things like that. So I have a package, and they pay for a package and not for a rental fee. I hope that makes sense to you guys. Because if you rent something, you're going to have to pay a rental tax. And a rental tax is a little bit more expensive than other taxes.
Um,
Somebody had asked a question about some inventory earlier that I think we missed.
I think I went back up and got it. Yeah, I
I
went
can.
there. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. Where can you find the stretch chair covers that cover the lifetime chairs?
You just get the from I just told you guys.
Linen tablecloth?
Tablecloth, linen tablecloth, linen tablecloth.
Okay. One more. Let's see. Do you suggest using styled photos to use on your website until you get an actual event?
Absolutely, Arlene. Do style photos so that people will see what you're capable of doing and place those on your website. And if you're going to do a grand opening of a building or something like that, I use a lot of my photos from my grand opening on my website as well. Great question.
Um, what advice would you give to a person who would do more for the client than what they are paying for because you like things to look a certain way?
We're going to talk about that in a little bit. I definitely had that problem, but you don't want to go in the red trying to make things look right. We're going to talk about the client and the whole look of things and how to handle those situations, because I did that a whole lot in the beginning of my career, and it's definitely not something I want you guys to do, but we'll get into that a little bit later.
Um, let's see. They also ask, do you mean like sequin tablecloths and etc.?
Oh yeah, like all of your linen, you can get the sequin tablecloths from CB Linen, but BBJ Linens and all the other luxury linen websites that I mentioned, the last three, BBJ Linens, Wildflower, and Uriquit, these are like super duper duper amazing linens that you can use for your sweetheart tables and things of that nature. Because the other ones is what you're going to see everywhere, right? All the people have kind of the same things over and over again, but those last three, you can even get them to create some linen for you to make it very custom and very elegant and very luxurious. And so that's why I recommended those.
Okay. How do you keep your linens clean? Do you have a vendor for cleaning your linens?
Yes, actually, we have a couple of things that we do to keep our linen clean, and I might do a video on how to upkeep your linens, especially your specialty linens. There's a washateria that is like directly kind of across the street from us, and we can actually take them over there right after the event, and they will wash them and dry them and fold them. I think it's what, $2 a tablecloth, $3 a tablecloth, like $2 to $3 a tablecloth. Absolutely amazing, and it's very convenient. Then there's also a lady from our ministry that likes to do it as well, and so she charges me about the same rate because she's retired and she has nothing else to do. She loves to iron, and so she does it for us as well. And then sometimes, if I like with chair covers, I just wash them myself. But I do like to use like a bigger. You can wash them at home, but sometimes I just like to go over to the washateria because it's nice and you can just throw it in there and they're fresh and dry. And you can keep it moving.
Okay. How do you go about cleaning sequin runners and dry cleaners? Like she's asking, do you take to the dry cleaner?
No, you don't take it to the dry cleaner. You have to hand clean those, and you basically want to use like a spray in order to clean it. I'll probably do a live video for you guys on that process. That's a great question because you don't want to ruin it. So everything is going to be by hand, and do not take it to the dry cleaners. No, 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 no. You will ruin it.
Okay. Do you recommend reselling inventory other than the standard colors like white, black, ivory?
Do I recommend
reselling inventory other than the standard colors, white, black, and ivory?
I guess you've used it and they want to sell it.
Yes.
Yeah, you can list it on Facebook Marketplace or any wedding group. People are always looking for a great deal. So if you want to resell it, then I mean, if you have the market for it, I would definitely go for it. I hope that answered your question. Yeah.
Uh, do you add the cleaning fees in your package?
Um, I don't add a cleaning fee in my package. It's kind of built into my pricing. So if I purchase a tablecloth the first time, whenever I'm calculating the cost for an event, I will still use that same cost over and over again, even though I've only purchased it once. So the cleaning fee is in there. So for example, if I'm going to do an event for 100 people and they need 10 tablecloths, and I paid $20 each for that tablecloth. Although I may have used that tablecloth twice before, then my price is still going to say $20. And so because that's going to be what it costs me to replace it should something happen to it. Great question.
Where can you find the stretch chair covers that covers the life? We already answered that question.
Yes.
Do you suggest using stout? We asked that one too. Let's see.
Let's see.
Where do you get most of your ideal for your decor?
Some of my ideas come from different places. I may see some other um, creators or event planners that have done something that I like, and I will take an aspect from that. I don't go in and just copy their idea. Like, I just don't do that. I'll say, oh, I like the way that they did that centerpiece, and then I can do it this way. So I can use like an aspect of that and then take it and create my own. So you, of course, Google, Pinterest. I get a lot of ideas from crazy places, hotels. I can look at a painting and like the way the color is put together. I can be in a restaurant and see a floor and like the way the floor is laid out and design something around the floor, or driving through town and seeing a Coca-Cola sign painted on the building. And I'm like, ooh, I can do a tablescape in front of that and take a picture. I mean, inspiration comes from everywhere. It can come from clothing. It can come from just anything, a piece of decor. I may find one something while I'm out shopping and design a whole event around that one thing that I found. So you definitely want to have an inspiration piece when you start to design. Like, for example, I just bought this bling cupcake stand, and like I have designed an entire white party with bling and lots of glitter and things like that just off this one piece. So inspiration can be found anywhere. YouTube, a lot of party groups. I mean, just anywhere you can find inspiration.
Um, Jericho said, "How often do I need to advertise?"
You need to advertise every day. I don't advertise as in book me today, I cost this amount. Like, you would never see that type of post from me. The way I advertise is just sharing my work. Like, here's an example. Like, this weekend I was so excited to do this particular birthday party, and I just posted pictures of the birthday party. I never say book me, I never say any of those things. And then from that, then they start to contact me to start booking. Oh my gosh, I saw that birthday party, or I saw that event. How much do you cost? Are you available on this day? So every day I share something. And Jerica, that is such a great question, because one of the things that I do is when I get pictures from an event, I don't just post like the whole album, like so that I'll have something to share every day. I'll post a couple of pictures each day to kind of matriculate through the week until I get to the culmination of the event, or I have something else to share. So that's such a great question. I always share every day, but never in like a sales pitchy type way. Just like with this class, I'm not a salesperson. I'm just like, it's here. You can take this opportunity if you want it. If not, that's fine.
Okay. How do you deal with family not supporting you in building up your business? An example, they know you are moving forward in event planning, but instead they will go to others instead of coming to you.
That's fine. I mean, not everybody is your client. And if they're family or friends and they choose to use someone else other than you, that's absolutely fine. Don't get in your feelings about it. Just understand that's not your client. Not everyone is your client, and it's perfectly okay. I have family members that have had events that did not use me. That's fine. I just say, okay, well, that's not my client. That's not what my clientele looks like. And because that's not what my clientele looks like, then I'm going to do something totally, I'm going to go out and find what my client is. And what that did was force me to find my niche. Because a lot of times when people come to you and they present issues up front, then it's going to be issues and drama along the road. So it's better to recognize it up front and let it go. It's okay. Don't worry about them not supporting you. It's not their dream. It's not their vision. A lot of people don't even support their own dreams and their own vision. So you can't really expect them to support you. So you just move forward and, just find out what your niche is and who your client is, and you market to those people. And I guarantee you, like when I first started planning around here, in my area, I did it for church. And then, a few people in the community contacted me, but then there were other people who wanted to be very competitive and, do all these mean things. Well, I just started showing people on YouTube. And then I started getting business from everywhere just by sharing on social media and marketing outside of my general scope of people and not being offended by what they wanted to do, because they have the right. Just like, if a family member, like my aunt does hair, but if I choose to go get my hair done by my hairstylist, my aunt does not have the right to be offended because it's my hair and I want it to look at the way I want it to look. And so I have the choice to choose who I want to do it. Same thing. If they don't want to use you as an event planner, fine. That's their choice. You just find out who your clients are.
Okay. Jerica also said YouTube DIY has become very popular with making vases from Dollar Tree using epoxy glue to save money. How do you feel about that, or should she just buy the vases outright?
Jerica, girl, that is the best question. Let me tell you, a lot of these DIYs that YouTubers do, Dollar Tree really trends on YouTuber. I can tell you that on YouTube. I can tell you that as a YouTuber. But a lot of times, by doing these DIYs, don't save money. And it does not look as elegant and it does not look as classy. So what I would recommend you doing is saving money and buying a few of the pieces that you need in order to grow your inventory versus doing all these DIYs, because it will look DIY-ish. And, it will lose that luxe look that you're going for. I think, Arlene, you said, do you design exactly as the client instructs, or do you ask for flexibility from the client? It just depends on the situation. Like, I just had a party that I posted that was green, black, and silver. And the husband planned that entire anniversary party. He was very specific about what he wanted. He would not be in. And so I had to work with him to use my creative juices to give him what he wanted. I would have gone with a lighter color as a base, not black, but that I would have gone with maybe a cream or a white. But he didn't want that. And it's because he was paying. And even though I went to him and said, here's some photos. What do you think about it in cream? He said, absolutely not. So I made my suggestion for making a change, but he didn't want it. And I couldn't get offended. He was paying me. If you went to McDonald's and you ordered a Big Mac with no Big Mac sauce and you got your Big Mac and they had it on there, you would be upset because that's not what you wanted. And so if they don't take the suggestions that you make and, allow you to be creative in that way, then you have to figure out a way to bring forth the vision that they have in mind using your creativity and not being able to make those changes. So I hope that answered your question.
Okay. Jerica also said, is there a rule to get the right client, or is every client the right client?
No, I don't think every client is the right client. You will know your client when you meet with them. Like, I have had several people that walked through my door that I knew was not my client. Like, they were just not my client. And I was okay with that. I just felt like, oh, something's not going to be right here. And later on, I found out some, things that, kind of confirmed that for me. And so, I think just using your sense of discernment and finding out who your client is and what they need, I think that's very imperative in getting the right client. And then sometimes, even though you may discern and try to, fill them out, you still may end up with the wrong one. But it just won't be as often. You just don't need to be driven by money and things like that in order to build your clientele. Good questions. Good questions. I think that Jerica said, how do I feel about shopping at antique shops, garage sales for items? I think that you can definitely shop anywhere you want to shop. as long as you find items that kind of fit what you're doing, I have found things everywhere. And antique shops and garage sales and things like that, a lot of times they yield a lot of treasures. And so I don't just shop at Hobby Lobby. I shop at Tuesday Morning. I shop at all types of places in order to get the look. I shop at Ross. You would be amazed at some of the things that are out there. TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Home Goods, at home. I shop at garage sales. I shop Facebook Marketplace. There are so many different places that I shop in order to create a unique look that cannot be easily duplicated.
How do you set up your base payment plan?
My payment plan is set up based off of whatever their event costs. So they have to pay what I call a retainer fee. So when they first come in and they book me, I make them pay a retainer and not a deposit. And the reason I don't do a deposit is because by law, a deposit is refundable. Even if you say non-refundable deposit, there's no such thing. I've had several friends to go to court and lose the case because they use the word non-refundable deposit. I don't use that. I say retainer. And when I say retainer, that means if I've given you the ideas and you've taken up my time and I started to purchase inventory, that retainer fee covers those things. And so once they pay the retainer, we set up the payment plan based on their finances, and everything has to be paid within 7 days before the event is supposed to be taking place. So it has to be paid in full. I have a sample contract that I've included in this as well that kind of explains that more for you all.
Have you ever turned down a client or a job? If so, why?
I have. That's such a great question. So I turned down a client, and it was an amazing client. Okay, they basically had no budget, and she was just like, "Whatever you want to do, I'm okay. It's no budget." And I'm like, "Wow, no budget." But it was just like I felt something that wasn't right. And so I went home and I kind of prayed about it, and I'm like, God, this is such a big job, but it just doesn't feel right. And so I ended up contacting her back and just said, I don't think this is going to work out for us. And I recommended some other people, and I just left it at that. Well, later on, I found out that this person was actually pregnant for someone else's husband or a husband to be. So the girl was engaged to this guy, and this girl got pregnant by her husband. So it was just a mess. And with me being a pastor's wife, if I had have done something like that, oh my gosh, the community that I was in at that time would have been in an uproar. It would have been horrific, and it was just a terrible, terrible, terrible thing. But that's why I turned the client down. It just didn't feel right. We were not a match. I did not feel like that was my client. I did not feel like that was, a person that I could gel with for whatever reason. I just discerned that. You just get that feeling like something's not right about this. I had that feeling. I listened to that feeling, and I was absolutely right, because it was a lot of other drama that was attached to that. And then I later on ended up being hired to do something that involved the other individual. And it was not, it would have just really ruined my business at that particular point in time if I had taken that job. So that's why. So when it doesn't feel right, like if I just know it's not right, I'm not going to do it. I don't care how much money it is. I don't care how much they're offering me. I am not going to do it.
Let's see. Jersey Girl also asked, where do you find your unique centerpieces, like the high heels that you had in one of your videos? She had quite a few unique ideas, and she wants to find a place that has these unique finds.
I will send you a link with that centerpiece. I have to find it. I have to find that link, and I'll include it in this video for all of those who are interested. I can't think of the name of it right off the top of my head. I can't think of the name of it right away. I'm sorry. Arlene said, for weddings, do you have everyone's mother's, aunt's, friend making suggestions and changes? With that being said, who is the client? Arlene, I only deal with whoever's paying. And everybody else, I tell the bride up front, listen, who is the decision-making body here? Because that's all I'm going to deal with. All these other things, I set up before the wedding, I bring in the mom, the bride, and I set up a sample of what I'm going to do for each table. And if any changes need to be made, we make it. I document it. They sign off on it. And on the day of the wedding, like I tell them up front, we've already agreed on this. It's in the contract. I have photos. They've signed off on it, and that's what they're going to get. And I just, whoever is the paying body, that's who I deal with. If the mom and the siblings are paying for the wedding, then that means they have a voice. And so that's between the bride and the siblings. So that's why I set it all up, and all the people who are involved, they come, and then I just let them go from there. I do not deal with all of them. I just deal with the bride or whoever that paying body is, or whoever she decides is going to have the say so. Sometimes it may just be the mom and the bride. Sometimes it may be the mom and the aunt, or whoever that person is, whoever that voice is. Sometimes it could be the bride and the groom. Whoever that voice is going to be, that's who I deal with. And then, we just kind of establish that communication up front. But on the day of the wedding, like when people go, move this over here, no, I don't do that. I just say, this is what the bride wanted, and if she wants it changed, then she'll have to change it. Like, I'm not going to go through all that drama on the day of the event. Great questions.
Should I utilize a centerpiece decor style questionnaire with my clients with the initial constellation?
No, you don't start sharing any information until after they sign the contract and it locks them in, and you get that retainer fee. I don't share anything.
Do you travel outside your city to decorate? And if so, do you charge mileage or higher rate than normal?
Yes, I do. I do charge. Um, I do charge out. I do travel outside of my city, and I do charge mileage, and it is a higher rate. And if it includes like an overnight stay, they're responsible for the hotel, they're responsible for the gas, and they're responsible for the food. Excuse me, and then the person that's at least one other person that's accompanying me, but that's also included in my contract. For the high heels, midnightvelvet.com or wards.com. That is correct, Augusta. That is correct.
Okay.
All right, so here are the other vendors that I have for live flowers. I go to Flower Buyer, Mayesh.com, Publix, Sam's Club, and Trader Joe's. For silk florals, I use A Floral, Hobby Lobby, Michaels, Amazon, and eBay. Also, silk florals, I recently discovered Joann's. They have some amazing flowers. So add Joann's on that list. For dance floors, for the custom dance floors, you can go to Incredible Dance Floor or eventdirectdecor.com. For specialty chairs, the bestchivaricchairs.com. You also, again, look at, just recently, my friend found some Chivari chairs for me on Facebook Marketplace, and I paid $10 a chair. And I cannot wait to get them in my studio. $10, and they're normally like $30 or $40 a piece. And these came with the cushions as well. For the throne chairs, a lot of people, I got those from Absalon Roche. Right now, he's running a $99 special. I will tell you to order at your own risk. I ordered mine in June, and I didn't get them until September. And that was after several calls. And I spent $1,300 on my chairs. So I don't know how soon you're going to get them for $99 each. And I think the shipping costs more than that. So I can tell you my personal preference of what may happen there, but I won't go there because I don't want to bash anybody. But I'll just say order at your own risk. I did get my chairs. I paid $1,300, $1,299 for my chairs. And but it did take quite a while to get them. For my vase, do you use silk flowers for weddings, or should they always be real? It depends on your client. Like, I do a budget for silk flowers and I do a budget for real flowers. And a lot of times my client, will choose the silk flowers, or they will ask them to be mixed. So it just depends on the budget and the preference of your client. I like to personally use silk ones because I can do a lot of the work ahead of time. On my vases, vessels, and hardware, I use accentdecor.com, Websterant. I also use Oriental Trading, the Marry Me edition, and Hobby Lobby. You can also go to the Dollar Tree because sometimes the clear vases, the cylinder vases that you see a lot, they do offer some of the taller ones, and those are great for candles as well. So candles are a great way to kind of decorate and save on money. On pipe and drape, I use Georgia Expo, CB Linens, and DecorDirect.com. Now, let's talk about pipe and drape for just a second. On pipe and drape, you want to get your hardware from those locations that I just mentioned, but you don't necessarily have to buy all the fabric from them. Now, let me give you guys the secret. Y'all got to promise me y'all won't tell anybody though. So instead of buying like all the expensive drape, I get the 90 by 156 tablecloth, and I put a little bitty hem in it for it to go through the pole of the top of the drape, and I use that to do my draping. And so that's how and I use the satin ones. So that's how a lot of times you see my drapes match my tablecloths exactly, because it's the exact same fabric from the exact same company. So instead of spending like $50 or more per drape, you're only spending like $10 or $8 on a tablecloth. So that's my tip. That's my secret. For my charges, I like to get those from CB Linens, Michaels, Dollar Tree Direct. If you want to order a larger quantity, they did have the ones that I shared with you guys that are also in Pier 1. Those are really good ones. The other gold and silver ones you see a lot, I don't buy those. I actually get them from Michaels around Christmas time, because you can get them like 30 something cents a piece. And so that's when I buy all of my chargers. Also, you can get them at Hobby Lobby after Christmas sale. They go 75% off, and you can get them for about a quarter a piece at Walmart. And you can also get them at quickcandles.com. For lighting, you can go to Space 8 Lighting or eventdecordirect.com. And then you can also get printables from them. And then for my bling, I use Totally Dazzled for my bling. Thank you so much. Do we have any other questions regarding inventory? All right, so let's get started on pricing and packages. So pricing is one. You're so welcome. Yeah, just get you can pin it. Do I use gobos? I use it sometimes. I do use gobos sometimes, but not a whole lot, because most of the time that you use gobos, it needs to be at nighttime. It needs to be dark, or darken the venue or the event or whatever. I did find a really inexpensive one, but I'll have to find that link and share it with you guys, and you can try to create some custom ones yourself. It was really cheap, like $40. It was really super cheap. And you could use a laser printer to print out your own gobo. So I'll share that with you guys when I get that link. I think everything else, only thing I owe you guys is the website guy and the link for the gobo. Okay, so pricing was one of the areas that I had the most issues with whenever I first started. And so what I did was that I nailed down the services that I was going to offer. And remember, I told you guys I created packages. And so the first thing that I had to decide is what I was going to do. And a lot of times when people get into event planning, they don't really understand that an event planner, an event decorator, and an event designer, an event coordinator, they're all different people. And a lot of times you find yourself overwhelmed because you're doing all these jobs and you don't necessarily need to do all these jobs. So you have to decide what you're going to do. If you're going to decorate, there's a price for decorating. If you're going to plan, there's a price for planning. If you're going to coordinate, there's a price for coordinating. If you're going to design, normally design and decor goes together, but not all the time. And so you want to make sure that you decide what package is good for you and go from there. So an event planner is the person that assists with the design, the planning, and the management of a client's wedding or an event. An event coordinator is a person that maintains contacts with all of the vendors during the planning period and acts as a liaison between the bride and the groom. A lot of times you see the coordinator at the wedding. That's the one that directs them down the aisle. Sometimes they're called the day of planner or the month of planner, but that's the same thing. But they work in conjunction with the planner as needed. So they're more of the conductor. The event planner is the overseer. The event designer is more like your David Tutera or your Preston Bailey. This is a person that comes up with the whole concept of the event, how they need the things to go, and then they create the visual experience of the wedding. Now, this is going to be here, and when you walk in this room, the backdrop will be here, and the table will be here. They create the whole visual experience. This is a person that will go out and get the florist and all the other people in order to bring them in to create the vision that you're looking for. And the decorator can also be the designer, but not necessarily. The decorator can be your florist, your drapist, or whomever else you want to bring in, or you can do it yourself. But these are all different jobs, and when you are sourcing or coming up with your price, you need to make sure you include a price point for all these different jobs. And so now that we've laid the foundation of each job that you're doing, we need to take time to discuss your pricing and your services. And in the business world, in the business world, everyone is paid two different ways, and that is cash and experience. And I have gotten paid with experience. I've gotten paid with cash. And I will tell you that experience is the greatest teacher. And so, whenever you're getting started in event planning, take the experience first. If there's a great event planner in your area or a designer in your area, volunteer and work with them. And then once you volunteer and work with them, you can get that experience and it will prove to be invaluable a lot later on. So don't worry about taking the money. Take the experience first. And the cash will come later. Don't, the cash will come when it's ready. The key is to being profitable is to evaluate and raise your price as you gain experience. So you don't want to start a company today and charge what everybody else is charging. Like they've put years of experience into what they're doing. And so, but you want to invest more than what you spent. And so when I first started, I told you guys I charged $250 to $300. And then after that, I began to raise my price. I began to volunteer and get more experience. I would do things at work. I would do things at church. But I got all the experience that I needed. You guys will see me looking in this camera and this camera because I'm looking at YouTube and Facebook at the same time. So if I'm not making eye contact, I'm not ignoring you. I'm trying to give them some attention and give you guys some attention. So everybody's on the same page. Okay. And so I wanted to be able to make money. So some planners look at typically starting at like $40 to $100 an hour. But what you're going to find out in event planning is that you'll spend way more hours than you will ever imagine, like shopping and creating centerpieces and decorating and doing all those things. You'll spend a whole lot of hours. So experienced planners may not agree to an event that is less than a certain dollar amount. But the key is to know your market and to know your client and to know your niche. I cannot compare what I'm charging here in Alabama with what someone else is charging in New York. It's two different markets, two different clients, two different niches. And so I have to charge based on my market and my client area. For example, here's my rule. Whenever I do an event, I don't know if you guys if this has ever happened to any of you, but there have been times in my life that I've done an event and I was so excited about the event. It turned out amazing. But once the event was over, I was so sad because I did not have any money. I didn't make any money from the event. I actually went in the hole buying things to make it look right. So I went in the red to make it look right. And that wasn't what I wanted to do. And so what I called that was sad money. Because at the end of the day, I had to put money with it to get the look that I was going for. Or I could have charged a lot more than what I charged, but I didn't do it. So I felt like I cheated myself. And so after the event was over, I was like, oh, this is sad money. Like I was so sad. And so I told myself, I will never make sad money again. I don't want to make sad money. I want to make happy money. And so what I did was that I decided how much it was going to take for the event. And I multiplied that by 2.5 times. And that is how I came up with the money that I wanted to clear. For example, if you want your take home pay to be $1,000, then you would take what you want and multiply that by 2.5 in order to get your take home pay. So you would multiply the 2.5 times $1,000. So 1,000 times 2.5 is $2,500. And then once you make the $2,500, then you take out your 1,000, and your budget for the event becomes $1,500. So whatever your client wants needs to fall within that $1,500. You need to walk out. Okay. Whatever your client wants needs to fall within that $1,500, because remember, you're taking home 1,000. So my take home pay, you start with what you want to take home. So for this particular baby shower, I'll be happy with taking home $1,000. So I'm going to take that 1,000, multiply it by 2.5, 2.5 times. So what I'm going to charge the client is $2,500. Okay. And then I'm going to subtract my 1,000 out for my happy money, because I don't want to make sad money. I want to make happy money. So I'm going to take my client out, take my price out, and then that $1,500 becomes my budget. Now, if that budget does not allow for what their vision is, if it does not base on that, then I'll add to that. I'll say, okay, well, in order to get this look, this is what it's going to cost you. And that's going to be an individual cost. What I'm giving you right now is a formula for, charging clients using inventory you already have on hand. And so that's your happy money. You establish what you want to take home, multiply it by 2.5. The difference becomes your budget. If you come in under your budget, then you've given yourself a bonus. But at least you're leaving the event with happy money. Now, if it's not based on what their vision is, then you sit down based on their vision and you give them the cost based on their vision, still keeping in mind your happy money. If that does not align, then that's not your client. Because what you don't want to do is invest your time and your energy and your resources only for them to be unhappy and complain and, spread things about you on social media that may be untrue or only a small portion of the truth. And so that's how you start out with that. Now, that's the first formula. The first formula is making your happy money. And this is for those of you who are just getting started out. The second formula that I have, and your strategy is going to change. Like, I have packages, so you can sit down and create your packages based on how much things cost, multiply it out by the number of people, and come up with a package price. And I've included my package prices in here, and I've given you guys a sample of my package price. And I talked to you guys about a flat fee, a percentage fee, the package, and the hourly. So, for example, I have you guys have seen my $1,000 wedding. And so I knew that doing the $1,000 wedding, the minimum investment that I would have to make in the $1,000 wedding was $100. So from every wedding that I did, and I think the $1,000 wedding lasts about an hour. And so for every wedding that I did was $900 I would profit. But I knew it would be based on me having everything in stock and everything in inventory. And so they would have to choose, colors that were in inventory. They could choose colors that were not in inventory. But if they did, then they would be responsible for that price. So it's kind of like a la carte. Like if you go to a restaurant and you add an extra side and they're like, okay, that's going to be $3.99. The same concept. So I would do the same thing for event planning. And so I started out with a $1,000 wedding. So I put a little asterisk there. If you guys are following along, it's the one that says notable wedding package. I tell them how many people it's going to cover. And then I tell them everything that a package is going to include. So that's how I decide how much profit I want to make. When I'm putting together these packages, I know that I want to profit at least 80% from this particular package. And so I put it together using those things. And anything that they want extra, that's why I have that little asterisk right there, because that's going to be an additional charge. And so that's one of the ways you can do it. You can do it with a flat rate fee. So the flat fee is what I recommend when you're first starting out. You charge a flat fee until you get some clientele under your belt and things like that. And this is typically based on the type of event, the amount of planning involved, etc. But it does not mean that every package that someone gets has to be a flat rate. This is just something that I use whenever I first started out. The second way you can do is a percentage. So, for example, if they're a percentage of their budget. So, if their budget ends up being $10,000 and you decide that you're going to charge 10% or 20%, which is normally the going rate, anywhere between 10 and 20%, then your fee would be $1,000 or $2,000 or whatever your fee may be. And so if you use this method, I would definitely recommend that you have a starting price. Like, okay, you need to have a minimum budget in order to do this. And because you don't want someone coming to you with a $500 budget and then your profit is $50, okay? And so that's the next thing. And then the next one is packages. So what I did was that I put together packages for events at my studio and events away from my studio, and those packages are displayed on my website. And so once the packages are displayed, it's based on the number of people, and that's what I shared with you guys here. So this noble wedding package, they can invite 25 people. They have 2 meetings with me. They get an inspiration board. They get 1 bouquet, 2 boutonnieres, a setup with just the sashes, a backdrop, some chairs, and music, cake, and frappe. That's it. And then that's their package. If they want to add more people, then that price increases based on the price per person that I've calculated. And that's how I come up with packages for bridal showers, wedding showers, baby showers. I have wedding packages as well. And all of them say starting at this price. And so as time progresses and they want to change some things, then that increases the price. And then I attach that to their contract. So Jerica said, do you ask them what their budget is in the beginning? Yes, I do. I ask them what they're looking for, what budget they're looking to stick within. I ask them to show me some of their inspiration. Then I go back and I put together a full plan that I also shared with you guys. I shared a sample contract and a proposal, and we'll get in that a little bit later, just a second. But I put that together and shared that with them to see exactly what they want to do. For an event of 150 to 200 people, what is a good package price? Virginia, it depends on what they want, their centerpieces. I mean, that can range so many different ways. And so for me, I would say at least, $6,500 minimum. But that's just based on what I know I have in inventory and things of that nature. I don't go up to 200 people, but up to 150, that's my range. But if they want live florals or something that's really luxe and elegant and over the top, then yes, I go back and I go back and I make sure that I make those adjustments to that package. And I do share a sample package with you guys here. And then you can also change by the hour. Charge by the hour as well. And some people come up with like $40 an hour, $100 an hour. It's whatever your price is, but you can also charge by the hour depending on the event.
What if your client does not know their budget? Are they considered your client or no?
If they don't know their budget, that's one of the first things I like for them to establish. And so I do have my pricing. See, that's why I have my pricing packages published. So when they come to me, they automatically know what my ranges are. And I ask them, well, what package are you considering? Some people don't do that for obvious reasons, but I do. Keelan, you do that as well, don't you?
Do what?
You advertise your packages up front so that the client knows what the budgets are,
Yeah,
and it weeds out the people that wouldn't be your client by you already advertising your package. Great question. I also included a sample contract. In this as well. And so what I do is once we decide on what we're going to do, we sit down and I write it all out in the contract. And then once I write it out in the contract, I attach the proposal to that. And when I attach the proposal, it becomes a living part of that contract. I think someone on YouTube just asked a question and I did not get to see it. So please ask that question again. Jerica said, is the cake included in your package? Does the client choose or do you choose for them? The cake is included in my $1,000 wedding package only. And the client does get to choose, but I leave that between them and the baker. I do not choose for them. Now, sometimes they do ask me for suggestions, and I always like to give them three things to choose from. I don't like to overwhelm them with more than three choices. Jerica said, do you itemize your items and share the itemized with the clients or print out? Nope, I don't. It's in the package and it just tells them what it includes. And the reason I don't itemize every single thing because they say, well, I don't need 12 tablecloths. Let's just do 10. And then you got two tables at the back empty looking crazy because they didn't want to pay for it and they were trying to save money. So what they'll do, what I found is when you itemize, they go through and they start to pull things off that list, and then it kind of takes away from the look that you want, and then you find yourself in that same predicament of spending more money trying to make it look right because they didn't want to do it. So I just tell them what's included. It's going to include tablecloths for your tables, centerpieces, and it just outlines it that way. I don't give them like an itemized list. No, 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 no. But I do give them an invoice for what they're paying for their records. I do that, and that's included in the contract as well. And it's attached to the proposal. Oh, we'll talk about. So I have a sample proposal here as well. You guys will see this page. And so what I do in the proposal is I kind of line out their event, the date, where it's going to be, the setup time, the colors, the theme, everything we talked about in our initial meeting. And then I tell them what I'm going to do. And then I put down what it's going to include, not numbers, but just all of the thoughts. And then I have pictures of inspiration photos that they've shared with me or that I have found, and I put it in the proposal. Once I present the proposal to them, we go through and make any changes needed, and then I update the proposal, send it back to them along with the contract, and that becomes a working part of my contract. So great question.
Do you price differently for fundraising events? Have you ever been able to make that work without sacrificing your happy money?
Yes, when I do fundraising events, again, I start with that happy money base and I go from there. Now, a lot of times when I'm doing fundraising type events, I do like to use things that I already have in inventory, or I'll go out and solicit someone to like sponsor that or donate that for in exchange for advertisement. For example, my local rental company, I may go to them and say, hey, I'm doing a table for the Cancer Society. Would you guys like to donate the tablecloth? And then I'll include you guys in any sponsorships or give you, a shout out for this or whatever the case may be. I'll give you guys the advertisement in exchange for that.
Jersey Girl said, do you have partners or sponsors?
No. No, I wouldn't say I have partners in terms of people that I work with, but not people that financially contribute to the business. So, no. Any other questions? All right. So the last portion we're going to talk about is educational resources. I have them in the back of your Luxe Academy packet. And basically, these are just some little resources I'd like to give to you guys in reference to how to gather basic information in providing a jumpstart form to your client. I gave you guys that form. So whenever you're meeting with your client, you can write those things down and then trying to get their information as far as like how do they prefer to communicate? Do they prefer to communicate by email? Do they prefer to communicate by phone? What are they interested in? Are they looking for someone to just decorate? Are they looking for a planner or a coordinator? You want to make sure that they understand the different roles and all the costs and duties that are associated with all of those individuals. So you want to make sure you share that information with them. You want to make sure you get a good feel for their vision or their style, their number of guests, what budget they have, what they're interested in, and then go from there. Then I also have some references on how to build a basic backdrop. I have a toolbox for you guys on building a backdrop, how to calculate how many feet you're going to need and all that good stuff. So I have a size chart tool to assist you guys with calculating drape fullness and where to purchase pipe and drape from, all of that. So I got a how to build a basic backdrop toolbox on this list. Also, how you get paid. You want to set up a Cash App or use a Square, PayPal, or money order or a check. Now, if it is a check, you want to make sure that you collect the payment in advance. And if that check bounces, you'll have time to collect that payment. I did have a situation where one of my brides, who was also a relatively close friend, wrote a check on her deceased grandmother's account. And I have yet to be paid for that wedding. So for that reason, I don't accept checks. I just don't accept checks. I think someone else said, what?
Okay. When working with venue, how do you calculate in their expenses for bartenders, buffet per person fees, so that you are sure that you are giving your client the price for that location?
I allow when I'm working with a venue based on the bartenders and all that, I allow my client to work that out specifically with that venue, because I don't want to be responsible for any additional fees or anything like that that is incurred during that meeting.
Um, in the beginning, did you have to convince people they needed your services, or should you expect to sell yourself in the beginning, or did people approach you?
Well, if they're coming to you, they've already seen something that they like, that you've done. It's not like it's a cold call and you're like, hey, you need a wedding planner. They're coming to you because they've seen something that they like. So I just encourage you to be very professional in your first meeting. Have all your things together. Don't be frazzled like I was in the beginning when I couldn't get this YouTube portion to work. But you want to make sure that you put your best foot forward and just kind of, get some ideas up front from them before your initial meeting. Don't give them too much, but give them enough to want to come back. Jerica said, I'm sorry I missed the answer. Do you rent any of your items? And I said, Jerica, I do, but I don't. I don't do rentals, because when you do rentals, you have to pay a rental fee. But if you do packages, you can avoid the rental fee. Great question. Another thing I want to talk about that is so important is, how do you protect yourself? And as a event planner or decorator or designer or whatever, you want to make sure that you have insurance. Okay. And so there are different types of insurance you want to get. You want to get liabilities and errors and slash omissions insurance before you book. And then you want to also consider disability insurance, non-owned auto insurance, or business interruption insurance. Let's say a venue catches on, you want to make sure that your items are covered. If something happens and someone sues you, you have insurance. Like for me, I have 3 different insurances. I have one that specifically covers my building, and then I have one that covers my content, and then I have insurance that covers me and my content when I travel. So it moves with me. And so for all of those different insurances, I pay about $100 and something a month. But definitely you want to make sure that you are insured. Another thing that I want to talk about is how people contact you. Instead of getting a different phone, you can do a Google line or a sideline app that rings on a different number. And that way you do have your time away from home with your family, and you don't have to worry about people calling you all weird times of the night. You can kind of decide when you want to shut those calls and text messages off. And then you can have a business number that you can advertise to be reached. And again, Google or Sideline or Vonage are very good tools for that. Okay. Let me see. I have a couple of questions. So that is all my questions regarding, everything that I had in your packet. I hope that answered a lot of you guys' questions. I do have some more questions that you guys have. So now I'm going to open it up for question and answers. That is all the information that I had for you. But if there is something that I did not cover tonight and you guys want to ask, we're going to do about 20 minutes of question and answer, and then we're done. Okay?
Jersey Girl said, what was the name of the centerpiece place again? She said someone said it on the Facebook side, but she's on the YouTube side.
So the centerpiece place was Ward.com and MidnightVelvet.com.
Okay. Where do you purchase customized drapes from?
Customized drapes. I'm not sure what you mean by customized drapes. Like with names or something on it? Be more specific
Okay.
on that one, please.
How important is it to secure a partnership with a florist, cake decorator, or photographer? You mentioned the same person that does many of your treats.
That's right. It's very important because what it does is it creates your brand. It becomes a part of your brand. So creating that partnership early on is integral to building your business. Like for example, whenever I was doing events, the events looked amazing, but I was taking pictures on my cell phone. And then I would have professional photographers to come in that were not all that great, and their pictures were not like, it just didn't really capture the beauty of the space. But then when I met up with Keelan, it was just like he was at an event and he took some pictures for me, and another photographer came to the event and they took some pictures for me, and the pictures looked totally different. Like that set of pictures looked yellow, and Keelan's pictures were all beautiful and just light, and it was absolutely amazing. So it is so important to set those partnerships up with the florists and things like that, because you can also bounce off each other. Like if someone going to a florist, they can recommend you to decorate, or if you're decorating, you can bounce off the florist. It's good to create those relationships up front.
Okay. How do you keep your linens from wrinkling when you have an event away from your studio?
You have to, you're gonna get some lines in your linen, but you can take a steamer with you. I do have a handheld professional steamer that you can take with you away from the studio. That's probably the best thing, and the way that you fold those linen as well is good. Also, those crinkled taffeta linens are really great to use because they already have a lot of lines, so they don't really look wrinkled if you have to fold them in a particular way.
Let's see. Okay, so
Hold on. Let me go back over here. So let me see, Jerica. Do you charge gratuity? I do not charge gratuity. I include my happy money up front, and so if they want to tip me, they can, but it's not necessary. Do you charge for the initial meeting just in case a client does not choose you and you get paid for your time? Jerica, I do not charge for the initial meeting. The initial meeting is just for the purpose of collecting data. At the point that I provide that client with a plan or proposal, that's when I charge. So that's 200. That fee is around $200, and that client will pay that fee, and it does apply to their balance if they go on and book. But if they choose not to book, then I get to, I keep that money, and it's for my time. But if initial meeting or the initial consult, I don't really share a lot, so I don't charge a fee there. Have you ever been called by a venue to decorate for an event they're hosting? If so, how did you charge them? Yes, that's a great question. I have been charged by a venue. I have been called by a venue. I just recently got a call yesterday. And what I do is I go through and I, look at what they're needing, and I price them just like I would price anyone else. If it is a venue that I have a working relationship with, which I don't have any venues like that right now, but if it was, I would probably do a special fee, but I don't have that, so I just charge them like I would normally. Great question. What rental fee? It's not a rental fee, Jerica. It's a rental tax. If you rent something, you are charged a rental tax. Like if you have a rental property, you are charged a rental tax. If you rent tablecloth, you are charged a rental tax. So in the state of Alabama, we have a rental tax. And in order to avoid paying a rental tax, I just do packages. Do you need to have all these insurances when you're starting out? You do need to have insurance to cover your contents, and you need to have insurance to cover your body, or anyone that's working for you. So yes, if you get sued and you don't have these insurances, then you'll be paying out of pocket. Or if you have a sole proprietorship and you don't have insurance, they can get your personal, they can sue you for your personal belongings, your house, your car, your bank account. So yes, it's important to have insurance when you're first starting out. Anything can happen. It's like, do you take that chance and not pay that $100 and something, or let something major happen and have to pay thousands? Like, I do highly recommend getting insurance to at least cover your contents and yourself and people working for you. Where did you find the $10 chairs? I found them on Facebook Marketplace. Have you ever had people market for you and you pay them if they get you a client? I haven't. That's a great tip, but I mean, it's a good thought, but I haven't. Normally, I have a joint venture with my photographer and my cake baker, and so we all kind of work together and we send each other clients and we just kind of work together. But I haven't had people to market for me. Word of mouth and social media are both free and they are both the best forms of advertisement. What do you mean by packages? Augusta, packages is what I shared with you guys in the Luxe Academy packet. It just kind of, it's a package like if you're doing a baby shower for 25 people, that package would be $500 and it will include three tablecloths, three tables and centerpieces or whatever you're going to include in that package. Yeah, linens, chair covers, whatever you're including in that package is what that is referring to. Okay. YouTube questions?
Yes. Okay.
I hope I'm answering all you guys' questions. Let me know, you guys, if I'm on it. Give me a thumbs up if I'm on it. If you're getting what you thought you were gonna get, if you're getting what you need, let me know. If you're not, let me know so we can get it covered.
Okay. So going back on their question about the customized drapes, she said in one of the videos you said that your drapes were customized. I think she might be talking about your tablecloths that you put the seam in, and you use the tablecloths as your drapes. I think that's what she's talking about.
Yeah, you're talking about the when I told you about the tablecloth secret earlier, how I had those just kind of sewn together, and I wasn't gonna get that secret out on YouTube in a regular video. So yeah, that's what I meant by customized. They were tablecloths that were sewn. They were not fabric or drapes that I just purchased. They were just tablecloths or fabric that was sewn to create that custom that drape.
Okay. When when a job requires a team, what is the approximate amount you pay each person?
It depends on what you agree on per hour. Anywhere between $10 and $20 an hour is what I think is a fair price to pay people that are helping you. Or if you're going to exchange services. So let's say if Keelan's going to be the photographer for the event, because I booked him to be the photographer, he'll say, okay, in exchange for you getting me this job, I'm going to help you do this. So it just depends on the arrangement that you have.
Okay. They missed the websites for the centerpieces again.
What centerpieces?
The ones on. Let me look them up again.
You can let them know I've got some email templates for like bartering with other local vendors
Okay.
that we
So
can attach in the group.
okay, so there are some email templates that Keelan is going to attach in the group in order to barter with other local vendors. So we're going to put that.
I'll do that now.
He's going to do that now. He's going to attach those in the group so you guys can see those email templates that you can use for bartering.
It was like Ward. What was it?
It was ward.com and I forgot the other one. But they're the same price. Ward, WARD.com.
Okay. Keisha said, I'm interested in opening a venue and I want to plan events there. I am less interested in being a mobile event planner. Is that realistic in your opinion?
Yes, you can run a venue. Like that's been my hardest. I'm actually working on that right now because I want my venue just to be self-sufficient and me not have to decorate or anything. And so, yeah, Midnight Velvet. That's it, Jersey. Thank you so much, Jersey girl. So yes, you can run just the venue and rent it out and just have like standard tablecloths and linens that you can use as an add-on. And that is definitely feasible. People do it all day, every day, and they make plenty of money doing it. And it's not as stressful. Just make sure you have the right insurances for that and you're good to go. And if you're going to allow alcohol to be served or you're going to serve alcohol, just note that it's going to increase the cost of your insurance on a monthly basis.
Okay.
Yes, I do allow other decorators to come in. because it's a venue. So I don't have to decorate for that. I actually, and that's one thing I have to get out more and more and more and more. I've had a couple people to come in that were another, other decorators, but most of the time when they come and book, they want to use my venue and they want to use me. But I have to, like, I'm putting together a totally different marketing package to let them know you don't have to book me to use this venue. So that's a very good question. Do you allow alcohol? I just answered that. I don't allow alcohol at my venue for personal reasons, religious reasons, and most of all, insurance reasons. Because the insurance for alcohol is so high, and to get a liquor license and to get certified and all the things that you have to do for that is just really expensive. It really drives the cost of your insurance as well.
Okay. How long is your consult meeting when you charge them $200 retainer that will go towards the event if they book?
It's an hour long. The consult is an hour long. The meeting is an hour long. And I think someone just asked me if it was a deal breaker. Yeah, some clients, it is a deal breaker when I tell them that I don't allow alcohol, but that's fine. Again, that's not my client. And then if they want to have alcohol, they don't have to come to my venue. They can go to a venue that does allow them to have alcohol. But I'm fine with them saying, well, if you don't allow alcohol, then I'm not going to book you. I'm okay. That's not my client. A lot of people in my area know my convictions and they know my beliefs, so they don't really ask to do that. But I do have them that have, and I've said, okay, well, or those that say, you know what, we want to use you, but we want to drink too, so we're going to get this venue. Will you decorate? Absolutely, I'll come in and decorate, but I'm not going to stay for the party. So yeah. So if another decorator comes in to book, do you change the price? Absolutely not. Let me tell you something. I feel like when it comes to pricing, you have to have integrity. If another decorator wants to come in and book, they're going to get changed the same. I mean, and they want to book the building. I'm not going to change the price. It's going to be the same as it would be for anyone else. Because that for any other person, any other general person, like the price is the price. I had an NFL client to book me for an event. Not go up on my prices just because he played for the NFL. He got charged what any other regular Jane Doe would have gotten charged for that event. And because of that, I have booked so many more events with them, and they've given me so much more business. So you have to have integrity. Not saying you don't have integrity, Jerica. I'm just saying in general, you have to have integrity with your prices, and that's why I like to be transparent with it, because I don't want people to say, well, you charge this one this and you charge me that. So absolutely, I charge everybody the same.
They asked, do you offer hands-on classes for doing backdrops, beautiful florals? You started doing classes, like stuff like that.
Yes, we're actually going to start doing some classes with backdrops and florals and things like that. I will be doing some things in the near future where I have a real event. You guys can come down and do some hands-on things with me to prepare for that event, so you can get hands-on experience for all of that. So stay tuned, and I'll be posting that information as it becomes available. But I will also be offering like little small classes they'll probably be like less than $20 or $30, and then you guys can come in and I'll give you a list where you can go out and purchase everything you're gonna need, and then I'll go live and put together a centerpiece or put together a backdrop, or I'll have a guest to come in and do it, and then you guys will have the price list up front, like 30 days before, of all the materials that you use, and then we'll do that together. So it'll be kind of like a virtual hands-on class. As your students, will we get our first paying client? Can you consult us, guide us for a fee if needed? Absolutely. Actually, you get one consult free just from booking this class. And then after that, we can work some things out.
Okay.
Great questions.
In the glam baby shower, where did you purchase the drapes from?
The glam baby shower.
Is that the panda?
Was it Panda? Was it Nautical? Was it Glam? Was it like Dior? Was it? Goodness, I don't know. Okay, Jersey Girl. You said A&A maybe? I don't know. Oh, Diamonds, Diapers, and Dior. Those were they blush, baby? Were they blush? If they were blush, they were tablecloths. I think they were blush and cream. Yeah, those were tablecloths. They were just fabric. Folded, Remember I told you put the seam in it as wide as the pole? I think the pole is like 2 or 3 inches and roll it through. I actually took them to my local rental place and they actually sewed it for me. Okay, we got 10 more minutes for questions. So you guys get your questions in.
Let's see. Jersey Girl said she's glad you stepped out of your fear of doing florals. You're doing so great.
Thank you, Jersey Girl. I'm trying. Sharonda helped me a whole lot with that. And I also attended a floral class as well. And I do have some floral tutorials. And I think Sharonda's going to be posting one from the uh, wedding anniversary party we just did. We got a 4th of July one coming up. And I also have a couple that I posted from some previous baby showers. So you guys check those out. I have a whole playlist on YouTube on those tutorials.
Okay. How do you suggest finding a coordinator to learn from or an apprenticeship? What should you say? Do people want to hear? Do people want to help or see you as a competition?
Like I said, I would start out by just kind of reaching out to people outside of my area. A lot of times people that are in the same area with you, that are in the same general field, a lot of times they don't want to help.
That email template, it would be great because it talks about like how to like tell. You can connect with them by telling them what you like that they do and how you like to work with them.
Okay.
So check out the email
Okay,
template.
so Keelan also posted an email template that will help you with reaching out to them. So you want to make sure that you use that template in order to reach out to them if you're deciding to reach out to someone in your area. Sometimes people can see you as competition. Sometimes I know, like with Sharonda, I never really saw her as competition. I'm just a helpful person. So you will know from that person's personality if they'll be willing to help you or not. If you can't find someone in your area, again, investing in things like this, going to hands-on classes, shadowing people, and linking up with people in this community will help you a whole lot. So if you're not in the Luxe Academy on Facebook, be sure to send a friend request and we'll accept it. And then that will help you a lot as well.
Okay. On the Facebook. Are your throne room chairs petite? They are 99. The $99 ones are the smaller ones. She just wants to make sure that the ones that you have are for adults.
The ones I have are for adults. They're not petite.
Okay.
And I paid $1,300 for my chairs from the same company. I don't know about this $99 deal, but you can try it. I mean, it's not a lot to lose. I would not use my regular bank account. I would use like a prepaid Visa or something like that, or try to. I don't know if they accept PayPal payments, but I would try to do something to protect myself and my account. But I did get them from them, and I did receive my chairs. It took 4 months, 4 or 5 months, but I did get them, and that was at $1,300. So at $99, you may get them next year sometimes.
Okay. When I mentioned centerpiece and decor questions, do you ask clients questions to get a better understanding of their vision?
Yes, I do ask them questions, but I also encourage them to bring me a visual of what they want to that first meeting so that I can know, first of all, if it's feasible, if it's going to fall within the package that they're inquiring about, and if it's something that's doable for that time of the year. Great question.
Any more questions?
We have 5 more minutes. Any more questions? Did I cover everything you guys were looking for in this class? If so, please type yes. If not, please let me know what questions you have.
Did we miss anybody's question?
Did I miss anyone's question? Please let me know. Jersey Girl said yes and more. Thank you, Jersey Girl. I like to under promise and over deliver. I will be sending you guys, I sent you a link. Please go back and fill that survey out. It helps us to get better. I do know that the beginning was very sketchy. Please forgive me. I am used to using GoToMeeting. I'm used to using Zoom and Facebook Live, but I have never used YouTube Live with people. So I definitely, I really apologize for my start off, but I hope I recovered well and got you all the answers that you need. I will leave this video link live. Please don't share it with your friends, guys. You guys have invested in this, and I just don't think it's fair for people to get all this information for free, and then I put all these things together. It's like stealing. So I'm trusting you guys to be honest, and I want to leave this information up, and I do want to be open and available. So as a part of this class, I will go in and do some one-on-one things with you all, but I do ask that you do complete your business plan and all of those things when we have our meetings, so that our meetings will be very successful and very effective when I do meet with you all. Oh, thank you so much, Augusta. Where do you get your paper flowers? The one that fell on the top of my head because Keelan did this one. Actually, a young lady made these for me. Her name, oh my gosh, I think her name was like Petals and Bloom, but there are a lot of tutorials on YouTube for how to make these paper flowers. You can check those links out. I will leave her information down below.
Um, how do you become memorable, and best marketing tips?
How do I become memorable?
Mm-hmm.
I think becoming memorable is all about, ooh, y'all fainted. They done fell out. Get them. Whoo, y'all fainted. Okay, y'all. Whew. Calm down. Let me fan you. There you go. Come back to life. Okay, I think becoming memorable is about creating events and clean lines and paying attention to the small details. I think one of the things that stands out for me, like I'm getting ready to share this golf theme baby shower, first birthday party, with you all. I think the attention to detail makes you memorable. Coming up with catchy themes, like for example, I have a bride that I'm working with in June, and I don't want you guys to share this because it's something that is very dear to me. But I decided that we were going to do something different. So I always have one thing that I like to stand out, that I like to do different for everybody, and it becomes that signature thing for that person. So the wedding that I have coming up in June, for her aisle runner, we have a scripture painted down the entire aisle runner, like in the center. And so she's going to be walking on the word, and everybody in the wedding will be walking on the word as they come down the aisle. So for me, that, you want to do something that is going to be memorable. So people, the runner is going to be down the entire wedding. People will see that runner, and they're going to remember that they were walking on the word. So you want to always have that one signature thing. I've not seen anybody do that. Have you seen anybody do that, Keelan? I have never seen anyone do that. That's just an idea that I got from my wedding, because in the center of my aisle runner, I had our family crest. But so I wanted to do something different. So they're going to be walking on the word. So I think the way that you make yourself memorable is by doing one thing that's out of the box, and something that's catchy, paying attention to details, carrying the theme and the colors throughout the event, paying attention to the little bitty things. Like if this is the color purple that I'm going to be using for the dress, I'm going to take this to the fabric shop. I'm going to take this to the florist. I'm going to take this to the cake lady. I want all the shades of purple to be the same. I don't want this shade of purple and that shade of purple, and I don't want 50 shades of purple. I want all of it to match each other, and to kind of coordinate with one another. So paying attention to the small details makes you memorable, and I think by doing that, the word of mouth and social media is going to be your best marketing tools. Love you. This class was great. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much, Virgia. I think that's how you pronounce your name. Thank you so much, Arlene. What did you say?
Let's see. They said thank you, and then you look very beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I went and got my my makeup done just for you guys. So, I'm going to do a couple videos since I'm all dressed up. So be ready for a few YouTube videos.
They're also saying no worries about the rough start in the beginning.
Oh, thank you guys. You're so
Jersey Bill
gracious.
said that it happened on their radio broadcast. He said the devil tried it, but God blocked it.
I know that's right. That was a foolish mess in the beginning. Thanks so much. Oh, you too. I hope did I answer all of your questions? We got one more minute.
There is one question.
Okay.
Does does your husband work with you in event planning business? Any advice for the couples in business together?
Oh my goodness. So, no, he doesn't work with me in the event planning business. But when it comes to things that need to be kind of reinforced, I do bring him in. So if it gets to be something that's maybe a little hostile or something that may be a little bit confrontational and I don't want to get involved with that, I do bring my husband in. The only other thing he does is the financial support. Like I tell him what I want to do, I run it by him. If he's good with it, we go with it. If we don't agree with it, we don't do it. And so in order for it to work with him, as long as I kind of manage my time where I'm spending time with him, that's why I said I wanted to rent the venue and let people know I don't have to be there for them to rent the venue. So when he's off on Saturdays, I want to be with him and spend time with him. So I make sure I take that time.
Is event planning your full-time job?
It is not my full-time job. It's actually my part-time job. As I'm a full-time product manager for a Fortune 100 food company that is known all around the world. I am a senior quality food scientist, and yeah, it's a big time job, and I travel Monday through Friday. So that's why I have Trevor, because during the week while I'm gone, he's pulling tablecloths, he's changing things out, he's getting orders ready to be picked up, he's cleaning up from previous events, he's organizing and doing all those things while I'm working full time. Remember in the beginning I said you work your job to fuel and finance your passion. And so that's what I'm doing right now. I'm working my full-time job to finance my passion. And eventually I do want to become a full-time event planner, but right now it's not my reality.
They also asked when will they get their certificate for the class?
You're going to get your certificate after we get through with this event. So yeah, I'm going to mail those out to you. And for those of you who took my previous class, they've already been mailed out. So I'll get those mailed out to you in the next week or so. Any other questions, you guys? The last few seconds. Let me know if you have any questions. Come on through. If I did not answer anything, let me know. Yes, a good team is the key. Absolutely.
I did see a comment about, they said Hobby Lobby.
Hold on. It says, okay, is having the International Special Affairs certificate necessary? I don't think so. You know what? No, even after all the classes and certifications that I've gotten, I have not had one client or one bride or anybody to ask me if I have a certification. Not one person. Okay, somebody said Hobby Lobby carries flowers. Yes, they do. They are very expensive. It would be a lot cheaper for you to do. Yeah, they carry flowers like this, but they are like $40-something with 40% off. It would be a lot cheaper for you guys to look at some of the DIY floral videos. Style by Casanova has a great one. She's also one of my friends from YouTube. So check out the free videos and do them yourself if you have the time. Now, if you don't have the time, you can buy them. If budget is not an issue, you can definitely step out and purchase those. Awesome. I'm so glad you guys are enjoying this. Yeah, okay. Orange Out is Texas is great. Are all the future Luxe event? No, the future classes. I'm going to do 4 of these classes, but in order to qualify for my more subject specific classes, like how to come up with designs, how to do backdrops, like a hands-on class, and get all the formulas or recipes, I like to call them, for centerpieces, the recipes for a backdrop, the recipes for all those things. You have to go through this class first. So I'm going to do one class, winter, spring, summer, and winter, spring, summer, and fall classes. And then I'm going to, in between, now I'm going to start offering the other classes like that will focus on more specific areas that you guys may be interested in. So they will not all be the same. They'll be named different. If I say Luxe Academy, you know it's the beginning class. And then if I say draping class, you know it's for draping. Floral class, it'll be for that.
How do we contact you?
Oh,
For
that's
our
okay. I understand. It happens on YouTube. Huh?
They said, how do we contact you for our first client pricing?
You email me. Email me from at Living Luxuriously for Less, and it'll be there. I think someone said, will there be a fee for those individual classes? Yes, because sometimes I'm going to bring on guests that are like, I'm good at something, but I'm going to bring on people that are great so that you guys will learn from the best, and there will be a small fee for those classes. But definitely cheaper than what the industry is charging. A lot cheaper than what the industry charges. Yes, I will send emails of upcoming classes, and I will also mention those on events. Will those classes be weekend long? It just depends on the class. I'll put the timing and everything like that in that particular class. Just like I did for this one, I'll put all the details in the event when you guys go check it out to see if it's something you may be interested in. Awesome. Yes, a single trip would be good. It'll be like a wedding. So you'll be doing everything for the wedding. You know, you'll be doing florals and backdrops and draping and all kinds of things. So it will involve a lot.
Will you send emails for upcoming classes?
Yes, I will send emails for upcoming classes.
And then
yes, it is okay to tag me on IG. Please tag me on IG. I love you guys. You can tag me on Facebook, Living Luxuriously for Less on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And then Lux Academy is only for those who have paid to be a part of the academy. So that's a closed group. Do I have? Oh yeah. So I have a couple of companies that are asking about becoming a part of the community, and I just kind of want to grow and get a feel of what they're actually looking for, and like if it's going to be beneficial for you guys. So I don't know about that. So I'll let you guys know if anything important or new develops from there. What I'm trying to do is work with like CV Linens and all of the other big industry vendors to get special discounts. And if I can do that, I will definitely be sharing those with you in the group. And so you guys will be getting special discounts. So that's a plus. Any other information that you guys are looking for? Any questions that I did not answer? Were you guys pleased with this session? Let me know in the comments. Do you guys like my shirt? Like, this is a shirt. Let me show you this up close. You see all the details in that? And it matches the purple flowers. That's why I wanted the purple flowers back there. But I got this shirt from TJ Maxx. It was originally like $398, and I paid, I think, $8 for it. Isn't this a cute shirt? Oh, great. I'm so glad you guys enjoyed this session. I definitely wanted it to be worth your time. I thank you guys so much. Oh, the earrings were from Dillard's, and they were, I think they were like maybe $4 or something, $4 or $5 from Dillard's. Yes, $8 for the shirt. I hope this was worth your time. I hope this was value added for you guys. I hope it was worth what you paid. I hope you got more than what you paid for. Lots of information in the links that I sent you. If you guys open up your email and start going through that information, if you have questions, let me know. Also, Keelan uploaded some documents in this group. I will also be adding some more documents in this group. So be sure to check those things out. And what I mean by the group, I mean the Facebook group. Over here, Facebook people. I hope you guys enjoyed this session. Again, comment, let me know, you guys, how much you enjoyed it. Go to my Living Luxuriously for Less page, leave a review there, fill out the survey, let me know what you enjoyed, what you didn't enjoy, what I can stop, start, and repeat. I always do this thing at the end of everything. That I say, what can I stop? Like, what didn't you like? What can I start? What is something that I did not do that I should have done? And what should I repeat? So let me know what you think I should stop, start, and repeat. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. I hope you had a fabulous time at Luxe Academy. You guys are officially members of Luxe Academy, and I am so so glad to be able to teach and share with you guys everything that I have learned over the years. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday night. Gosh, we have spent 163 minutes together. Oh my gosh, does it feel like that long? So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, if you didn't get to answer any questions, or if I didn't answer question, I will answer them down in the comments below. And until next time, it's Melanie. You guys stay tuned for any other future upcoming events. Thank you so much. God bless you. Good night.